left here.
Check that. Russ Clark with you live from Mortgage One Studios. I fixed everything this morning. You said you only hear one ear out of one ear now.
Yeah, my other ear's deaf. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know why. It's just I heard the music, but only on the left side of the headphones.
How about me? You're okay on that? I mean, you got both ears now, you think?
I
don't know. We'll check it later. I put a new jumper cable in there, and there may be something in the connection.
Could be.
Or well,
I mean, I can hear things okay. It's just only in one ear.
That could be annoying after a while.
Could be.
I know I have a disclaimer here somewhere.
There it is.
It is. I know it was not far. I'm attempting to get a little more organized. You came in this morning. I'd already moved a bunch of cabling around. That's why it concerns me when you said your headpiece, because I did disconnect it and reconnect it with a jumper.
Well, things happen.
Yeah. Well, we can take a look at it. I got more jumpers if that one's bad. We got more stuff. Let's do the announcement here. All content presented in the Russ Clark Show, including statements made by guests, commentators, and callers, reflect the personal opinions of those individuals and is provided for informational and entertainment purposes only. These views do not represent the official position of Mortgage One Studios, its owners, employees, affiliates, or partners. Mortgage One Studio does not endorse, verify, or guarantee the accuracy, completeness, or reliability of any statements made by third parties during program. Almost memorized.
Well, yeah.
Almost. Not quite.
From my experience, you have an excellent memory.
Yeah, but it just doesn't last long.
Yeah,
so it's got one of those going on. I got behind this morning. I like always, because everything's in flux and we're playing with new stuff and moving equipment.
I think everything gets improved every time I come in. It's improved.
Oh, and it's going to continue. In fact, talking to Derek this morning, Derek works on it all day long, off and on. People calling back and forth and and working on equipment, working on it. That it's his deal. Derek is the owner and the chief engineer. He does it all.
That's impressive.
Came in on the weekend with his wife cleaning. He just does. It's a one-man show. Well, I'm helping out on my end on this studio and stuff and what I do. But Derek's putting the big stuff together. And we ran into a roadblock a little bit, and just a time roadblock, not a can't do roadblock, but we want to be open like first week of September.
Be nice.
The thing that's going to stop that, we don't know for how many weeks, couple weeks,
right?
At least maybe into October, but the computer systems that actually drive the whole show.
Right.
I mean, it's 24 hours a day, and that means you're getting a lot of different shows over the air.
Sure, you have to make a lot of connections over the internet,
right?
Coordinate them, and synchronize them.
And there's a lot of automation of downloading, like Sean Hannity reports and downloading all these other shows, and then working the timing and everything out in the computer where the commercials run, the shows run, and all that stuff. That equipment has to be custom built, and it's not just on the shelf. I mean,
it's
computers are computers, but still the software and everything they
there's enough radio stations that I would have thought they'd have had a few available.
They probably do. The problem is it's not one size fits all. They probably have the basics ready, but then they got to add the programming and then set the parameters that you want. And all
okay, so they have to be programmed to what you want for this particular station.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. But it doesn't sound to me like that would take a lot of time. It should be, I would have thought it'd be like, plug and play. Okay, well, this. Okay, yeah.
Maybe not, but, it's not my industry. And,
yeah, right. I understand. It is your industry, but.
Not the manufacturing.
But that's not the part of the industry that your expertise is in.
No, but Derek's going to do his best to twist arms, get as fast as we can.
Yeah,
that's good.
You want to get on the air.
That's good. Oh, he does. He's anxious to get rolling and do it. It's going to be a big learning curve getting it all together.
It's been a significant learning curve already, I think.
Yeah. But it's all automated once it's set up.
Right. I mean, and that's what I've seen. I mean, I drive across the country quite a bit, mostly between here and Dallas.
Right.
And there's a lot of radio stations, and you notice that a whole lot of them are essentially just automated.
Oh yeah.
You know, and people don't have to live or even be in very close physical contact to the radio station to broadcast over it.
No.
I mean, it used to be people went into a studio like we are here today and did stuff.
Everything was done live on like that.
Well, yeah, and then it got gradually more and more
canned
and automated, and the computers made a huge difference.
Yeah, keep in mind, radio started long before the computers were doing it.
Yes.
Yeah, that means there were people at the switchboards running commercials manually
all that
and everything.
Stuff, yeah. I mean, it used to be. I did a show in Tucson, and they had it set up with the operator, the people who were operating the system. Well, on one side, there was a huge window, that was soundproof. I mean, it was like a big picture window between that and where the guests were.
Yeah.
And they had a big conference table so they could have a bunch of people in there. Yeah. And I'm thinking, wow, but you don't need all that anymore.
Yeah. That's no, it's not like that anymore.
I had fun at the show, but I found it was a lot more comfortable and easier to do from my phone at home than to be in studio at that place.
The nice thing about this studio is Derek has given me input, allowing me input on how things are arranged and set up.
Right.
And so that's why I come in and I rearranged everything this morning again.
Well, you made significant improvements, but they're refinements.
Yeah.
You're getting the basics set up the way you want it, and then, well, I need this cable here instead of there. That's a little different than having to start from scratch.
One thing I just said, look, whatever we do, I don't want the control board in front of me.
Yeah. You used to, well, let's see. The control board was in front of you.
Oh, yeah. And it was between me and guests. It was massive. And it was in the way.
It's huge. And I was looking at the control board you're using this morning, and it's about 1/8 the size of
or less,
what it used to be.
Yeah. And this one only handles 4 stations.
But that's all you need. Practically, you probably don't even need that.
Well, we do. We're going to, and we'll get one that's going to handle, I think, 15.
When you say a station, what do you mean by a station? A guest, a microphone, headset?
That's one. No, just the microphone. The headsets are separate. You're just listening, but the microphone. But then you need to have different stations set up to where off-site comes in. Like if I'm doing a
for
remote,
telephones.
Yeah, telephone comes in on its own.
And probably more than one telephone line. Yeah.
Yeah. I want the telephone slides to be separate per line.
Okay.
So that's 2 for the telephone, 1 for incoming for that, 2 for the mics over there for sure, because the board will run this whole room, and we'll probably add a couple mics to this table opportunities because we can.
Sure. I mean, and there are times when you might have several guests in the studio.
Yeah, we might get a high school football team or something.
Or something like that,
We'll have plenty of mics.
I was thinking of a women's debate team or something.
Nah, we don't care about that. We don't care about this. We don't want to do any debate. So yeah, it's fun to get on the ground floor, and I keep trying different heights, different locations.
Sure, to find out what ergonomically works best for you.
Yes, and I've been talking to the engineers about where we put the delay button and where we put the phone buttons, and I'm just very fortunate that Derek's let me, have my at least my input. It's his decision at the end of the day.
He is a smart manager.
He is a good manager. So I mean, he's given me opportunities to make it as comfortable.
Well,
which I like. And that other studio sucked. I was thankful for it, but it was horrible. Horribly ergonomically.
You used it for how many decades?
A couple.
Yeah. It was a long time.
Couple decades.
So you obviously got used to it.
I would have tore it down and redone it.
If you could have.
If I could have.
But you didn't have. It wasn't yours. You didn't have the permission to do any of that.
And if I said something like that, they'd look at me like I was speaking some foreign language.
Yeah.
They said, what's that got to do with sales?
Yeah.
It's just the way it was. No big. I mean, it wasn't horrible by any means. I got exactly what I wanted out of the other station. I had opportunity to be on the air.
Yes.
And that was it. And that's all I ever focused on.
Well,
If I got
and
this opportunity, and it's all good.
I
And
have,
I put up with everything
it's your
else.
passion. I mean, from my viewpoint, it is your passion.
Yeah. It gets me through the day.
It's almost essential for you, for your happiness to do it.
Don't tell Derek that.
Yeah, right.
Don't tell him that. You know, he'll be using that against me very quickly.
I don't know. I mean, he's maybe.
Yeah, kind of like, well, if you want to be on the air tomorrow, come paint my house.
Yeah. You know, I could see that.
Yeah,
I was reading an essay about how blatantly academics at universities abuse their positions of power because
so he could fall for it.
They have their grad students under their thumb, you know.
Oh yeah.
And if they don't, they for some of these graduate students, especially from overseas, it's like life and death.
Yeah.
I mean, they are there at great expense from their family, and they're expected to perform and do well.
They can't.
And they have no backup to failure, and their advisor essentially can cause them to fail relatively easily.
Is that why you looked into being on staff, university at staff? Yeah.
Say again?
Is that why you looked into being at the staff university?
Well, I have some horror stories from when I was a grad student.
Really?
Oh yeah,
I'm abusive.
I'm not sure.
I've read some stories about it. I mean, and some of it gets down into some sexual stuff. But I mean,
oh yeah, there's that.
I mean,
bullying. That's probably not as common because it's more, how to put it, it's more easily works to the detriment of the professor.
Yeah.
But having graduate students do all kinds of personal errands is very common, or used to be. Victor Davis Hanson.
I was just getting ready to say him. He goes into great detail on how he was bullied by a professor.
Well, and how the professor basically just abused him.
Yeah.
In terms of, you have to do this for me, you have to do that,
and he did it,
and because that's what he needed to get through. And I was very sympathetic because I had an advisor that was also quite abusive.
I never ran into any of that.
And apparently it's not all that uncommon in academia.
Yeah. Well, I was a student that went home every night. I wasn't on the campus.
And you were not a graduate student, right?
No, I was not a graduate. I never did go to graduate school. No.
And graduate school is a different animal in a lot of ways.
Oh,
the graduate students are often very dependent, much more dependent.
The school begged me to go.
I can believe that.
Really, just.
I mean, all these institutions want you.
Well, I don't know about that. but they paid for my GMATs because I wasn't going to take them. I had no need because I wasn't going to grad school, so I had a plan on what I was going to do. And they kept asking me, and I said, "I'm not taking them. I'm not taking them." Finally, I said, "Why?" I said, "Because I'm not going to pay the $100 or whatever it was to take the test. I'm not going to graduate school. So we'll pay for it. Will you take it if I pay for it?" "Why would you pay for it?" They said, "Well, you're one of our top students, and we want grades. I mean, GMATs that show excellence in our university."
Okay.
And I said, "Okay, I'll take it." So
what, a couple hours out of your time?
2 or 3 hours. I don't know. I don't remember how long it was, but then when they got the results, they said, "Now you have to go." Now you have to go. Do you realize you could?
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's like, you must go because you got high grades.
Right. Yeah.
I don't think that translates.
He says, "You pick the school, they'll take you. It doesn't matter." I was 97 percentile on the GMATs. I guess that's how they grade it. They don't grade it by a number.
It's pretty common for standardized tests to be on a percentile basis.
So it's a 97 percentile. And he says, "You can write your ticket anywhere. Just, you can get scholarships. Let us help you." I said, "I'm too busy. I can't do that right now."
I'll admit to cheating.
You cheated?
Because I took a test just kind of to take the test. It was National Merit Scholarship test. They're standardized. They used to be. I don't know if they are now. They were standardized tests that if you were thinking about going to college at every high school, you'd take this test, see how you did. And it was, if you scored high enough, you got full scholarship. By full scholarship, I meant they pay all your tuition.
Okay.
And usually you could get additional scholarships because the universities competed for these people who did real well on the National Merit Scholarship Test.
Oh.
So we had at the time, gosh, it must have been about 1968, 69. And we had a room full of students taking the test. And I and a couple of buddies had worked out a system to cheat just because we could do it. I was young and stupid. What can I say?
Okay.
And so we worked out a series of signals that if we were unsure about a particular question, we'd have 3 fingers and then 2 fingers for question 32.
Wow, the whole conspiracy theory, the whole team.
Yeah, we did all that.
Okay.
And I think I only used it on a couple of questions because...
Did it help you much?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Okay.
I might have gained a point, 1 question or 2 questions.
So did you pass and do well?
I was in the, what do they call them? It was like just below the national scholarship level, honorable mention or something like that, which probably put me in the top 3%, 2%.
Oh, that's pretty high. Yeah.
Something like that. And I thought it was pretty neat. Now, my daughter is smarter than me. She got the full scholarship on it.
Well, maybe she cheated better.
I don't think so. I mean, I thought about, I kind of a little, not real happy that I cheated on it, but it was kind of like they say you can't cheat on this. Well, we'll show them.
Okay.
I
don't know how effective it would have been.
Well, it's a good question because I was just, first off, one of the big things on that test, it's timed. And to get through all the questions is already a challenge.
Yeah.
So to get through all the questions and then have time to go back to the ones you were a little uncertain on and then communicate surreptitiously to somebody else about what they think the right answer might be, it's a questionable how much good it might do you.
I think I got everything answered. And I went through it and ours was very similar as far as speed mattered. If there was a question I was going to spend a little bit of time debating myself, I just skipped it, went on, and then I came back through.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of the techniques, and one of the things these tests measure is test taking technique.
I have a good test taking,
and I have always had a good test taking technique.
Expect multiple choice. I'm going to figure it out. I think
Yeah, well, I mean, and some of the tests try to combat that by giving you negative points if you get the wrong answer.
Yeah. That's why.
It's better to skip.
And I don't remember if it was on this one. It might have been on this one. So I skipped. I skipped some stuff. I think at the end of the day, I answered everything, whether it was right or not. I mean, I scored well, but I don't know.
Well, you scored, so you probably got them. And some of them, if you get down to 2 answers out of 4, it's in your advantage to guess. At that point,
I took a test for my aircraft instrument rating test.
Okay.
And out of all the questions, I missed 1. And the instructors were mad at me.
Oh, because you had missed, or why?
Like I was so close. Because apparently it's perfect scores are like unheard of. And they were mad. Like, you were that close. And what did you, and they were mad at me for missing 1.
Oh, because you set some kind of record or
well, yeah, it would have been some kind of
wow, we got the smart people here in Yuma.
Deal, I don't know. I was like, really? You're gonna get mad at me?
I had something sort of like that. We were getting new equipment for a new radar system out at YPG, weather radar. It was actually set up down near Somerton. It's been in service now for like 30 years, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And so because I was doing forecasting, I had to qualify on the equipment. And there were some other people in the Yuma area that had to qualify, and we were getting installation of equipment to allow us to see the data from the radar down in Somerton. And so we had to undergo a test at the end of it. And I had a partner who was, I think, a Marine. Anyway, and the guy said we had scored the highest he'd ever seen on it, on the test.
See, he's not used to people studying.
Well, I think we probably got lucky. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I did use the equipment somewhat afterwards. I mean, used that. It was a very advanced radar for its time. Now it's like 30 years. Who knows what we have now? I've been out of the field for over a dozen years now, so I'm not in the loop. But it was kind of interesting. I figured I got lucky, but it's sometimes better to be lucky than good.
Lucky's okay. Had you heard that yesterday there was a U.S. military plane that landed in Moscow?
Well, let's
before I do that, let's take a call from Mike real quick.
Yeah, let's do that.
Good morning, Mike. Mad Mike.
Thank you.
I'll turn on your mic.
Good morning.
Good morning. What's up?
I thought I heard my name called.
You were called
earlier.
No, not earlier.
It's kind of soft here. Can we get that volume up? That's
yeah,
better.
I got it.
Go ahead, Mike.
I'm also speaking softly. Anyways, no, I was listening in while driving, and I saw you kind of point and say, "There's room over there for 2 mics."
Oh yeah.
I thought, oh, I'm finally getting to sit down with Angry Mike, and
they're not hooked
put
up
on
yet.
a show.
Yeah, they're not hooked up. They will be. We'll have all the mics hooked up. We could fill the room
Right.
actually if we wanted to.
Very
Eventually.
good.
Yeah.
Well, my ears perked up.
Well, we'll have to bring you in then, man. But we'll have enough cameras too to surround. We surround the room with cameras, so I'll have a bigger control box to control all the cameras and the mics and everything. So I could turn you off as quickly as invite you.
Yeah,
in,
there's
so.
not much privacy unless you wear a mask.
Yeah.
And good luck controlling the 2 mics if we're both there.
Oh, that would be fun. I'm open.
All right.
All right.
Well, while I was trying to get back through to you, I had some problems with my phone. I accidentally called. I didn't put my reading glasses on, so I called Rahimi instead of Russ.
Oh no!
And then as soon as the voicemail picked up, I had to hang up.
Oh.
And then
they called.
Then I switched over to where I could see KBLU.
Yeah.
And that's how I had you in my phone contacts was as KBLU, not as Russ.
Right.
I've corrected that now.
Okay.
And I tried to dial and it was the dang studio or radio station number. So then I finally got it figured out and got you called in, and now I got an order, so I can't chat for long. But yeah, I look forward to a day of sitting down with Mike and Mike, or Mike and Ted, or Mike and OG. We could have some fun, buddy.
We'll bring you in, and that give me an opportunity to throw you all out, man. That's great.
I'll be on my best behavior.
I would hope so. All right, buddy. Go do your day out. Go do your delivery. Man, take care.
Oh, I've already done 3 and took an Uber to the airport.
Good for you.
Yeah, it's about time you got busy. Go. All right, see you later.
Yeah, well, as far as being on my best behavior, that's a pretty low bar you set, buddy.
It's all right. Hope you live up to it. Take care.
Bye.
Mr. My Bad Mike.
I was yesterday evening, I was talking to some contacts I have in law enforcement, and they mentioned that there was a long chase from somewhere around Yuma. I think it might have been close to the Ketchon Reservation. I was near the California border, all the way down to Somerton. And it was a couple of young people who had stolen some guns, and one of them fired multiple shots along the way
at police.
That was not clear at who they were firing.
Wow.
But one of them ended up in custody.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. The other one was certainly identified, but
this happened yesterday.
Yesterday, yeah.
I haven't read it yet.
And well, it might not make the papers. I don't know. I'm not going to give identities of my sources, but I thought it was kind of interesting. They had stolen these guns, and then somehow I think it was Yuma PD got alerted to the vehicle they were in, and they got a drone up and were following it with a drone. And then, of course, they had chase cars, I'm sure. And they all the way down to Somerton, and multiple shots fired from these stolen guns, which is like, wow, that's not good.
Bonnie and Clyde stuff, huh?
Well, you wonder. I mean,
That's crazy.
How were they shooting that? I mean, my comment was they watched too many videos online.
Yeah, well,
or they played too many games.
Don't get Gilbert going on that. You know, he wants to borrow that stuff.
You know, well, legally, I think inside the U.S., even in spite of freedom of speech and freedom of the press, we can restrict what minors have access to.
Yeah, but once the parents buy it, I don't know.
Well, exactly. You know, it's not easy to do.
Maybe a kid can't buy it,
and I'm not sure that it'll make a big difference. I mean, I've talked to parents who said, "Well, my child knows the difference between a game and reality."
Well, and I had this conversation a little bit with Brad, my son-in-law, who has got the ALS. I was over there with my son, and 4 of us were talking. Casey was there and all that, and somehow video games come up, and so I reminisced a little bit with Robert, like when he was like 3 years old. I was playing Zelda on Nintendo, and when I'd go to work, he'd stay home with mom and do all the work getting like coins and stuff so I could go fight the big bosses, later. You have to accumulate a lot of stuff.
Okay.
And he remembers it well as a kid. And we played when he's high school and everything. Friends would come over, Mario Kart and GoldenEye and all kinds of different video games. I always played video games. Brad was shocked out of his mind. Like, wait a minute, Russ, you own? I said, I have one at the house right now. He said, you play video games? And like my son plays video games, and he's a lieutenant colonel. I mean, he didn't end up being a street thug or kill anybody.
Right.
It's not that. There's more going on than just the game.
There is, but there's a certain cultural.
It's depending on the child, depending on who. And there's other surroundings.
Let me give you a little different take, because my brother is a firearms instructor, or has been, and he has some experience with young men coming up that he offer to give them some experience in shooting firearms. And
well, you're going to get interrupted by Gilbert. We'll have to get back to it.
Okay,
Gilbert.
Hey, Russ. We had that conversation many times about the video games.
Correct.
And I still feel the same way I've always felt.
Right.
But the difference between you and many other kids, they don't have that parent's influence.
You're exactly
with
right.
them.
You're exactly right.
I think that's a serious
and
thing.
that's what. Yeah, it's a serious thing, and we're to the point that these guys, like we talked the other day about sensationalism. And that's what these kids are all about nowadays, sensationalism. Look at all the shooting that's going on. See how these people are walking into classrooms, they model themselves after these video games. And that's a sad thing.
I think you're right. I think there is some of that happening.
But Dean, you follow the numbers. Are we safer today in the United States we were in the 70s and 80s?
The homicide rate is way lower today.
Way lower today. Even with all the video games.
Yeah. And more guns too. We have a lot more guns today.
Yeah.
Okay. And the reason we have a lot, just because we have a lot more guns, we didn't have the internet like we do today as we did back in the 70s, Russ.
No, I'm to tell you, the 70s were more dangerous.
Particularly the 80s and 90s.
80s. Wait a minute. Let me finish. Well, I think you're right, and I think you're wrong. First of all, 70s, 60s, and 70s, we had all those riots, all the hateful rhetoric. There's a difference between the violence of riots and stuff and burning towns down.
The late 60s and 70s, we had a lot of anti-U.S. stuff going on.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But
exactly.
But we had homicides all over the country in the 80s and 90s, even much more than
it got very high.
Much more.
Both there's a dip in between the 80s and 90s where it dropped down a bit, but nowhere near as much as it was before, like in the 50s to 60s, and after the 90s, it dropped way down. I think the lowest was around 2004, something like that. And
so Would you agree that there are more crimes committed by teenagers nowadays than there were in the 70s,
I don't know
in the
that.
80s?
I don't know that. I think we hear of them more probably. And I think
Yeah,
there's probably more coverage of what goes on in what we would call bad neighborhoods that maybe we didn't hear as much about. I'm just guessing. Because
Or
John,
just like,
go ahead.
no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
John
Dean.
Lott,
Go ahead.
who covers this quite a bit because he's an academic and he studies it, is that most of the violence in the U.S. is restricted to very small geographical areas, to certain major cities, urban areas, and then within those urban areas to certain neighborhoods that have essentially become lawless. You know, they're kind of outlaw zones. And inside
Yes.
those zones, you have a lot of violence, and outside them, you don't have very much. So, and that's usually where most of the gang violence is, and that's where most of the teen violence is, because these teenagers don't have father figures there, and they end up in gangs, and then they
Right.
get into warfare with each other and kill each other.
I checked the records real quick. In the 1980s and 90s were the peak. They were 10.2 per 100,000 residents in 1980.
Homicides.
And homicides.
Now, actually, those are illegitimate homicides, not justified homicides, criminal homicides.
And then in 1991, they were 9.8 to
Right,
to
they
10.
almost got as high.
But today they're at 4.1. So they're less
Which
than
is
half.
as low.
They say in the 1950s. It's as low since the 1950s.
Well,
today.
I looked at the 1950s data, and as far as I can tell, the data we had in 2025, which came out to about 4, and it's not a clear, easy measurement because of the way it's taken, but it was down to about 4.0. That's the lowest we've ever recorded in the United States since about 1900.
Yeah.
And then this year is supposed to be even lower.
Yeah. Well,
Right.
Trump's
You
in
know,
office.
we all know that surveys, polls, and stuff like that, they're, who constitutes these polls? Who's doing all this? How much?
They take this from the FBI records of death. I mean, these are
but
from
wait a minute,
arrests and
Russ.
stuff. Yeah.
And I'm gonna give a for instance. Last night at the meeting, when they were talking about crimes and stuff in the classrooms, how many of them get reported, and how many of them are hidden so they won't look bad? Remember they were talking about
serious concern.
Good question, but it's kind of hard to hide them to not report a murder.
Well, that's homicides are the best reported.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask you another question.
Yeah.
During the 50s and 60s and 70s and 80s, how many kids were being kidnapped and trafficking?
Don't know.
I don't know. Why?
Don't know, right? We don't know because there was no statistics on that kind of stuff because it wasn't that prevalent, or we don't know that for sure.
Hard to tell.
Yesterday, August 25th, they rescued 163 missing children from Florida. 163, Russ.
Yeah.
Dean?
Okay.
Yeah. I think we have better records today.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
And everything is changed so much because the transportation system is so much more capable. The communication system is so much more capable. And I'd argue, and you would probably agree with this, I think our national morals, if you want, has degraded somewhat, I think.
Now, who would have thought of kidnapping 2-month-old kids back then, Russ? Dean?
Well, you had the famous Lindbergh kidnapping, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
so it did happen.
It did happen, but from 2 months to 17 years old is what they caught. And these kids were located in other kids were involved, other states were involved, were Alabama, California, Ohio, New York, North Carolina, and Tennessee.
Uh-huh.
And this investigation went into 12 other countries.
Yeah.
And they got 3 people, Mike Prescott, Jaden Howard, and Robert Ellison. I say the death penalty.
They may. Who knows?
I don't know enough about the cases.
What's your point? You're saying it's
It may be
Oh.
more prevalent today. I don't know.
I don't know.
We don't know. We don't know because they weren't
Well,
doing statistics back then.
You could look at
on this
FBI
concept.
statistics about kidnappings. That's something that they tracked, and
Right,
they're
that was-
written down. I have access. I don't have access right now, but I've looked and found statistics from back to about 1930s, I think.
But was it ever put out back then as
Well,
it is
they
today?
would publish them, but they were in a big tome, and not many people had access to it. You know, I mean, you publish a book, and you know, a few newspapers might have access to it, and now
Few.
they put that in digital form, and you can find it online.
Yeah, but I still believe that a lot of these crimes that these kids are committing today are because of video games, and the video games that are played without any type of supervision, or they're not telling them about, you know, when you shoot somebody, it smells, it hurts, and they're crying for the mommy and daddy. You know, they don't put that on those damn videos.
There's no video game on kidnapping children that I know.
I don't know. I mean,
Well,
what's
there
there's some
are.
pretty
They
violent,
are.
nasty video games out there.
Yes, there are, and
I've
they're
never-
always ripping people off.
Never
Oh,
heard.
you're not involved with it as you were with your son.
No, not today, but
And I'm not
Right,
into the gaming scene because I would get addicted, and then I wouldn't be able to get my work done.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, I got to get back to washing my bike so I can go for a ride.
Have fun.
So
my
I
friend.
was here. I heard my name. Good meeting last night.
Yeah.
Well educated. Mr. Carbone is the man.
Yeah,
He's the, so everything went well last night. And I'm glad I was there.
Thank you.
I'll catch you on the rebound,
Good to see
guys.
you, man. Bye-bye.
So I started to explain my brother's experience, which was kind of very interesting to me, because he was teaching these young men basic shooting skills. They'd never touched a real firearm before.
Sure.
But they had played a lot of single-person shooter games. And he said their level of skill starting out was, he'd never seen anything like it before.
It was good.
It was pretty good. They could shoot pretty well right from the start because they had played first-person shooter games.
Wow. Do you know, the video games have entered into military stuff as far as a lot of controls for autonomous stuff is mimicked from video Nintendo playing games.
Right, for like controlling drones.
Yes. Yeah. So they're very familiar. You can be playing a video game and then a military guy hands you a controller that's very similar, and you adapt immediately.
Yeah, that's what I hear. And so we may have an edge up on other countries because we got so many young people who are adept at playing video games, and we need drone controllers, drone warriors.
Right. Yeah. And I've seen where they've designed them that way intentionally.
Makes sense.
Because
Well,
the kids have
already have
familiarity.
some of the skills.
Yeah. Yeah, good reactions and everything. So they all know it. I'm pro video game, but like Gilbert, I think I'm also pro supervision.
Yeah, I think so. I think you can. It's very difficult, especially for young people, to completely separate fiction from reality.
Right.
And I think it's insidious. If you watch a lot of images and stories that are false, that are fictional, you can't help but integrate some of that into your understanding about how reality works. And you're going to get
But you say you can't help it. I think it depends on your amount of times and supervision.
Sure, all of that.
person and
I think
kind
all of that is true, but I think there's just, it's especially the younger you are, the less reality you have to compare those fictional works with.
And if you never get out of the house.
That's another thing.
Yeah.
I think all of that makes a difference. I think that my vision of reality was altered, and I had to overcome some of the false images just from all the science fiction I read when I was a kid.
Oh, really?
Oh, absolutely.
You're expected to see that stuff out on the streets, huh?
No, but you know, one of my at the time favorite authors was Robert Heinlein.
Okay.
And the way he wrote his fiction, he made assumptions about, he put in assumptions about the way the universe worked and what was reality as if it were scientific fact.
Okay.
When they were his opinions.
Well,
and they were wrong.
It's fair by an author. Yeah.
And, you know, for an impressionable young person to read that, oh, that's the way the world works. And it wasn't.
That's why you're so skeptical.
It's one of the reasons. Yeah. And I think it's very healthy to be skeptical.
Yeah, it is. It is. I think it's healthy to ask questions. You went out and got me a paper this morning because I had some printing issues, which I appreciate. Thank you. Right on the front page, crash sites, which I find interesting, from the YPD. I used to have my office on 10th Street and 3rd Avenue. I swear there was a crash there every other month or something. I mean, there was just people. It was not a 4-way stop; it was 2-way stop, and people would run it. And I would talk to the guy. I'd go out and talk to the guys, you know, that were there filling out reform. You know, saying, you guys need to put a 4-way stop here. And all that. They never did. It is now. I think they got tired of it. So when I started reading this, and they're listing all these places where there's 10 or more accidents in a year at one intersection. I would hope they're
to me that track. Says that intersection is not well enough controlled.
Something's going on.
Something is happening there that you need to. That's very significant. You could stop 10 accidents a year.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of money, time, personal injuries.
Well, in 2024, police department reported 20 accidents or crashes at the 32nd Street and Avenue 3E. That's by the airport. Air
yeah,
base,
yeah,
right by the airbase.
Yeah, I know that intersection well. I've been through there many times.
Do Marines not drive well, or?
It's a pretty complex intersection.
It's very complex.
I mean, there's a lot of lanes. There's turn arrows. You know that.
And it is the Marine base, so there's civilians.
And you have people, you know, trying to get to work on time.
Agriculture, 32nd Street.
A lot of stuff going on there. You have all the packing houses.
Yeah, and 32nd Street's already fast, busy,
right,
and frustrating.
And 3E is a busy street there too.
Well, you know, they just lowered the speed limit to 35, going up to 3E. I think it hits 45. Right before 3E, but right there in front of the fairgrounds, it's 35 now.
Yeah, I saw that, and I try to stay within the speed limit.
A lot of people have already been cited. I mean, they put the signs up.
Yeah, because we talked about it, I paid more attention.
Thanks. I don't want you to get a ticket. My daughter got it. I talked about it. I told my daughter she got a ticket.
Well, yeah.
You know, just have it.
Right.
You know, you're running 45 or 50 and then 35 now, not 45.
My car beeps at me.
Oh,
when
good.
There's a change in speed limit now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Gosh, that's so nice. But 20 accidents at that one intersection. It's more than one a month.
It's a busy intersection.
But it's well lit. It's got great.
You can see pretty
lanes.
well. I don't see any. There's no obstacles to your seeing what's going on, but it is complex.
There's tons of lights. I mean, as far as stoplights, go lights, and all that stuff. There's tons of them. I mean, it's well marked.
Well, you have like a green turn arrow coming from let's see, south from the Marine Base side, turning on to 32E. Yeah. And if you're sitting to make a right turn to go from the north onto 32E, I can see where people get tempted. Oh, I don't see anybody,
and push.
And then somebody comes around making a left turn, and bam.
Well, they've got problems. That's the most accidents in an intersection in Yuma. Number 2 is 18 at the 200 block of East 16th Street. That one's odd. That's down the street from me. I'm on 16th at Arizona. Block. That's near the police station, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
That's where it goes 3 lanes to 2 lanes in that area, maybe.
Well, it's not very far off of 3E, is it?
It's very convenient to have an accident in front of the police station, though.
Yeah.
You know, they could walk over.
Well, there's I'm trying to think of there's a lane that stops close to that area on the far right.
You're forced to go right. You're forced to take a right-hand turn.
And so if you were thinking you were going to go straight, and there's signs and indicators and stuff,
well marked.
But if you're thinking and you thought, oh, I don't want to go right, and then you suddenly pulled over in the left lane, that might have something to do with it. I wonder.
Maybe. 14 accidents. The third was the most accidents at 24. The 200 block of 20th Street. What's wrong? What's up with the 200 block? Now that's I'm trying to think.
I'm trying to remember.
Used to be a courthouse up there, like a federal courthouse. Now it's something else, Social Security office or something.
20th Street, 200.
I think so, something like that. Or that's 19th up to 20th. I don't know why that would be.
Post office around
East
there?
20th Street. 200 block on East 20th Street. Oh no, it
seems close to.
Oh no, that's further up than I think. Is that near that?
Isn't it close to where the post office is?
No. Well, post office on 4th Avenue.
Well, yeah, but
this
the 20th
the,
is around there, I think.
Yeah, this would be like the 200 block. I don't know. That one I have to take a look. 13 crashes in 3200 block, of South Avenue A. So that's Avenue A and 32nd Street.
Yeah, it's a busy intersection too.
Yeah, that's right there by going into the Civic Center. That's Avenue A. It goes in Avenue A, crosses the 32nd Street into the Civic Center, and there's the golf course there. That little small golf course.
That
was 13 crashes.
Yeah, huh?
And that's busy. People trying to get into the Civic Center on deals.
Well, I appreciate all this because since
you could take a look
pretty often, I'd say at least a couple times a week, I go through that 3E and 32nd.
I travel all these areas. Really
I'm going to be extra special careful.
12 clashes in the 2400 block of West 16th Street. Again, 16th Street.
Well, 16th is busy. It's a main thoroughfare.
Yeah, it is. And people get impatient.
Yeah, it's true. One of the things I have seen happen over the last couple decades, I've seen a lot more people running red lights.
Yep.
I don't know why. And I see it.
And when they run red lights, typically they're going they speed up a little bit to make it.
Oh, they think they're going to make it. Yeah. And then the light turns red. It's yellow and they're saying, I have hit the pedal. So that's what I guess is happening.
So if you're going to have an accident, let's have a good one. Go ahead and speed it up a little bit.
Very dangerous.
Very dangerous. People want to get home for dinner or something. I don't know the time of day. It doesn't say.
People have lots of reasons to try to get somewhere fast.
But those areas I just mentioned, it was 89 accidents for that year in just those few areas. That's a lot.
One every.
And all I can think about, Dan, is my insurance rates go up if this keeps happening. We got to stop it.
Well, one of the solutions is to have the car do more of the driving.
Yes, Teslas.
Either the
automation,
fully self-driving, supervised, or totally autonomous. The accident rates go down.
Yeah. So I guess when the police get a call that there's a crash, they know where it's going to be.
Well, they have a pretty good idea, but I'm sure that there are a lot more that crashes than 89 that happen in human a year. It's just this is where the most concentrated places are.
Yeah, that's a lot of concentration.
Oh, how many crashes? I suspect the article does not say
how
many crashes happened in Yuma County in the year.
I don't have the total. No, that's not good. Yeah, Gilbert called in and said something about the meeting last night. It was a Republican meeting last night, and Michael Carbone was there. Which.
Yeah, I thought about going, but I ended up having some other stuff higher priority.
Excellent representative for us, and of course, he's also he's the majority whip or something. Is that the majority leader? You got a Speaker of the House, which is Montenegro.
Right, you usually have a majority and minority leaders.
Yeah, he's the guy. Which means they just volunteer for a lot of extra work. They just and these guys they work hard and they go. But Michael's great for us.
I think you need to have ambition.
Yeah, and he wants to get it done. And we talked a little bit about the radio show, and I told him, we were going to be back on. He said, Russ, I want to talk to people. I'd like to come on every week. I said, well, you'd be more than welcome, but during the election cycle, it's a little. I mean, I gotta make sure I write the.
Well, you conform to the requirements.
Requirements are nothing really. Here's the requirement in reality, not the way it works, but in reality, the requirements are that if somebody comes on that's running for an office, somebody hears about it that's also running for that same can make a written request. It has to be written request to be on, and you have to give it to them to match time. That's it. Now, what stations do says, well, we could do it even better. We could make you invite everybody that they're running against. So look it up and invite everybody they're running against, which I do. You know, I'll send them all a note that your opponent's on.
Okay, so if you invite everybody,
Yeah,
and then some don't come,
I'm off.
have you met the requirements?
I met the requirement. By doing nothing, I met the requirements. There's nothing I
Because-
have to do.
Well, okay, so you don't get many written requests.
I've never gotten one.
Okay, that's what I was trying to get. to.
I've had people call me before and say, "Hey, can I come on?" I always say, "Yeah, come on."
Yeah, see that makes sense.
But
to
but
me.
the law's written, the rule, well, I guess
Right.
rule is
Well,
has
and
to be
that
a
kind of
written
makes sense
request.
because if you're going to try to enforce a law, you want a record to go by.
Yeah. So they say written, which I have them call me. I say, "Yeah, come on in." But it's rare. I don't get a lot of Democrats that want to come on and talk to me.
Sure.
It happens, not as many as I'd like to have them all.
Sure.
I am not shy about that.
Transparency, that's what I like.
Yeah. People are smart. They'll make up their own minds.
Yeah.
I would
Give
take,
them enough information.
I would take Hassan Piker on,
Sure.
and
That would be interesting.
he's horrible. Did you see any clips of the interview
I
with
did not. I just read a little bit about it.
Jesse Waters?
I read about it a little bit. That's all.
He is he's just an aggressive. I mean, he's going to be aggressive, loud, and domineering to win an argument, not intellectual.
Yeah, if I just speak loud enough, I win.
Yes. Or if you got to be wrong at the top of your voice.
Yeah.
Be confident and wrong.
Well, that's, confidence can convince a lot of people.
Yes, it can, and I think that's what he does. But him and Jesse Waters were getting into it, and it came down that Jesse, I guess they talk about transitioning kids underage, and Piker's all for it. What a 14-year-old wants to get, whatever. So Piker asked him, and he kept walking on him and talking over him.
Right, not answering the question, I imagine.
Well, he did. He answered. He's proud of the fact that kids make what they want to do because it's medical care. It's medical care, Jesse. Why are you keeping medical care? And all that. It's none of your business and all that stuff. He's just a bully. And finally he said, "Well, Jesse, are you circumcised?" And Jesse answered it.
Huh?
He said, well, there you go. There's no difference. Did your parents ask you? He didn't ask that question, but that was the inference that they did that to an infant. Of course, that's not a sex change. It's
and it's also wasn't the person. It was the parents who made the decision, not the child.
Yeah.
Big difference.
Well, he was saying it's still mutilation, I guess.
Well, I guess so. I mean, you could make that case.
Yes, some people have.
It's a huge difference between a medical decision made by the parents in what they think is the child's interest, than the child saying, I think I want to be something else.
What if the parents say, "Nah, you think you're a boy, but you need to be a girl"?
Well, I think that's a problem.
There is a problem with that whole thing, but Piker was very proud of himself for bringing up circumcision.
Well, inside his bubble, his information bubble, that's considered to be the good.
That was brought up on Gutfield, and I watched Gutfield this morning because I didn't stay up, but they talked about that incident on Piker, and it was pointed out by someone that said, "Look, he probably, they said, well, he was so proud of himself, Piker, for doing that, and he looked like an idiot." And he says, "Not to his base."
Exactly.
Not to his base. His base says, "Well, good for you."
Yeah, you stood up to him. You spoke truth to power.
But they don't look at the big picture. They're just like, we need to support child mutilation. And
It's
doesn't
their,
matter the way we get it.
in my opinion, it's their false perception of reality.
Maybe there's a video game that did it.
That's an interesting thought. I wonder if there's a sex change video game.
I don't know. That wouldn't be one I bought. There's toys coming out now that are.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, they're interchangeable parts. You know, it used to be Barbie and Ken never had any parts to interchange.
Yeah.
I guess now they do.
Oh.
And they're Velcroed. You can be Barbie today and Ken tomorrow.
It's yeah.
That's not
This
good.
is when I talked earlier about science fiction.
Yeah.
Science fiction is where this concept was, I would say, had some of the earliest pushes. The idea that you could change from one sex to another.
Yeah.
I've read several science fiction stories quite a while back where that was considered simple in reality.
My father-in-law was a clinical sociologist, I guess, not a psychologist, but he treated a lot of people. But we always had that disagreement. He said, sex doesn't matter. It's how you're raised. Because there was a famous case early on where there was a mistake where a boy
it was a
had
botched circumcision from what I understand.
circumcision. So they said, we'll just make him a girl. He'll never know the difference. So call her, dress her, put her in dresses.
Yeah, right. And it just didn't work.
Well, but for decades they thought it was, and he kept citing that. I see, well, this guy, had a botched circumcision. They raised him as a girl. There's no difference. He was a girl because they said he was a girl. And by the time he was in puberty, he was like the most confused, crazed guy.
Right. And
And
eventually
they found out what happened to him, and he started wearing men's clothes. He was a man.
He ended up getting married.
Didn't he? Yeah. I don't know how his story ended. Was he suicidal?
I don't remember. He may have been
either
at
one.
one point, but the point is that he eventually found out. I mean, they had not told him. He eventually found out that he was biologically born as a male.
Yeah.
And he transitioned, whatever you want to call it, back to being a male, and apparently was happier in his life after that.
Yeah. But my father-in-law used to cite that all the time. That was before the transition back. He would talk about, it makes no difference, Russ. And I said, I think it does.
Well,
but I'm not the psychologist.
This is what we found, and there's a substantial amount of research now, mostly done in the Scandinavian countries, where they originally started out saying that it's all in your head, it's psychological. It isn't. There's no biological reality that you have to overcome. And they've since found that's just not true.
It's not. Well, that's what Hank used to always tell me, and of course that he worked in the psych department at the college I went to. He was the college professor in that department, and I disagreed with him. Of course, he just looked at me like I was a nothing.
Well, yeah, we talked a little bit about academia and their sense of superiority. And
silly boy, you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah,
but
I didn't believe
academics can be very wrong about a lot of things.
Yeah, he was wrong. I know that the transition thing, him back to what happened before he died, but I never discussed it with him. I'm not into that. I didn't want to.
Well, what's the point of the controversy?
None. There is no point, and I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it just for an argument.
Along those lines, I will mention that there is a huge scandal going on, and not all that many people aware about peer-reviewed research, and particularly in medicine and in psychology, that it turns out the majority of papers that are written, supposedly science, are not duplicable. And that's science. The whole thing is you have to be able to duplicate the results.
That's the deal.
If you can't duplicate the results,
it doesn't exist.
It's not science. And yet we find that a majority of the papers in so-called scientific peer-reviewed journals don't have duplicatable results.
That's a problem.
It's a huge problem.
Wow.
I mean, they say it's peer-reviewed, but so what? What that amounts to is your buddies say, "I'll peer review your paper if you'll peer review." I won't cut down your paper if you don't cut down my paper.
Sounds like a Fauci thing.
Yeah, sort of. It's an almost incestuous kind of relationship.
Fauci twisted arms because he controls money.
And I have seen it in my little area of the world where, the bear research stuff that I sort of stumbled into, you get little journals that there's a very small group of people that write for them and edit them. And often the editor will be one of the writers. I mean, the person who's controlling
that's
the
why
journal.
you're such a skeptic.
It's and it's hard to say that there's much, how to put it, control over whether the ideas are really good or not, or whether they proved anything. I mean, you know, the famous one, I won't mention the paper, where he had exactly 2 instances that were used, two samples, and they said 100% of the time this works because both the samples were one way.
Statistically correct.
Yeah.
Because I only have
But
2.
it's nonsense. It's such a tiny sample,
me-
it doesn't mean
Give
anything.
me, I need more information. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to bring up Dolly Parton died.
Yes.
How terrible.
Sad. She
It
was,
is.
she was a
really,
giant in the industry.
I liked her, and I don't. And I can tell you, maybe years I didn't know why I liked her so much. I liked her because she was non-confrontational. She was an artist, and she stayed that way. She didn't get offended by anything. She was always smiling. She was just somebody you'd want to be around. You know, happy.
Yeah.
Always. And, you know, I saw a lot of interviews with her where they'd like to trip her up or something and get her off of her down home type talking, which, you know, she was born in the Hicks, very poor. 12 children in that family. Do you know that? She grew up with 12.
Well, at that time, it wasn't so unusual.
No, maybe not.
I had 8 siblings.
Talented girl. Famous songs like Jolene, Coat of My Many Colors, Here You Come Again, 9 to 5, and I Will Always Love You. Now that's Whitney Houston recorded that and made it famous. She wrote it though.
Oh,
Dolly Parton did.
Dolly wrote that. Interesting.
Yeah. In fact, she had it on her album before Whitney. Whitney made it big.
You see this, you know,
Yeah.
when I've done a little bit of research on different songs, and it's not something that one of my primary interests. It's often a song will not make the hits until a particular artist does it.
Yeah.
And then for whatever reason, it takes off.
I know someone sings a little different voice, different surrounding, whatever it is.
And there's so much sort of randomness in there, you know, about who has access to the greatest number of radio stations. And back in the day, that was, you know, a lot of it was how you got pushed on the radio stations.
That's where payola came into and all that stuff that they tried to stop.
All that stuff happened.
She's born in 46 in Tennessee, and she always sounded like she was from Tennessee.
Yeah.
She did. I remember an interview.
My impression is she is very smart.
I think so. She tried to play the, you know, I'm just a girl stuff, and she's smart. I remember one time when she was being interviewed, and something came about her breast size. Now she was very, very well endowed, and the question about whether they were, you know, born
natural,
and you know whether she had something enhanced. She says, "Wow, if they could enhance it, who wouldn't do that?" You know.
Well, a friend of mine talks about,
but she doesn't get offended. She just flows.
About experience. He was in the Marine Corps, and he said that there was one female Marine who had relatively small breasts, and another one who had enormous breasts. And he said the one with the enormous breast wanted smaller breasts, and the one with smaller breasts wanted bigger breasts.
Of course.
Yeah. Of course.
Of course. You know, who wouldn't guess that?
I don't know that there's an optimum, but I don't think bigger is always better.
No. But it's a fashion thing.
Yeah.
I guess, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know how many they perform every year, but I think it's a large number.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it is. And, you know, I'm going to be neutral.
Yeah, neutral. I think that's safe. That's what Dolly was.
Yeah.
Safe.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna stay out of it. And I like that.
I'll leave it up to personal opinion, but you know,
I read a few things today about her that I didn't know, and I mentioned one to you off the air. She was married to the same man forever. She got married at 18, and they were together up until he died a couple years before she did. And there's a story in here about they got married in 1966, and right after that, she won some kind of Grammy or some awards. And so he dressed up and went there. You know, he wore a tux, and she dressed up, and they went to the show. She said when they left, before they got to the car waiting, he'd already taken off. He's taken off his clothes, took off his bow tie, his jacket, and all that stuff. They got in the car, and he says, "Look, you can do anything you want, and go to all these things. I'm not going again." And she said, so I never asked him again. But they were married forever. And
Sounds
I
like
guess,
one of the secrets of why they stayed together for so long.
I guess he did not like the tuxedo scene.
Well, yeah, I mean, I could understand that.
Interesting.
I mean, to me, I started out with a false idea that your appearance should not matter. It's the interior that should matter. But appearances matter.
Yeah, of course it does.
And I came to the conclusion that clothes were just another tool that you can use to help you get what you want one way or another, whether it's from keeping warm to impress somebody or get a job.
Oh, absolutely. Well, in business, I've interviewed thousands of people looking for jobs. And one of the rule of thumbs is the day they come in for an interview, that's the best they'll ever look. You just keep that in mind. That's the best they'll ever look. So when somebody comes in with flip-flops and shorts, I just think it's disrespectful.
You're not going to do a Pygmalion on them. You're not going to teach them to be better. You might. I mean, I think the military does a pretty good job of that.
They do.
But I'll say, because it might give a little bit insight into my character, is that when I was on active duty, I thought it was wonderful because I knew exactly what clothes I was going to wear the next day, and I never had to make a choice.
Yeah, in fact, your closet was probably full of it.
Yeah,
Same
just
thing.
had to make sure they were clean and well laundered.
Right.
And okay, well, that's fine.
But a lot of people didn't get hired by me because of little things like that. But that's how you learn. Doesn't mean you're like that for life. Maybe
It's one of the weirdest, I'd say, thing that I thought I've seen is that people will show up in a courtroom in front of a judge in t-shirt and flip-flops.
Not the look I want. I don't think the judge is impressed.
The one time I think, the only time I recall where I ended up in front of a judge was for traffic citation. I wanted to get the fine lowered. I was a pretty poor student at the time. It was a bicycle infraction, but I dressed up in my best suit, which I might have had more than one. I don't remember, and showed up, probably just a sport jacket and good pants or something like that. But the judge reduced the fine. And I've seen enough of judges since then on other things, other reasons, that if I'd have showed up in t-shirt, I don't think he'd have done it.
Yep. And of course, show some respect. And
well, that's it. The judges see that as you respecting their office and their person.
Absolutely. That makes perfect sense. It doesn't mean you're going to get away scot-free, but you're going to have your best opportunity.
It's one thing in your favor.
Dolly Parton was her faith meant a lot. She says in an interview in 23, she says, my faith impacts everything I do because I do believe that through God, all things are possible. I always ask God to bless everything I do and the people that I work with. And I bring all the right things and right people to my life and take the wrong ones out. She says, my spirituality has been my guiding light in my life, my strength, really, in my creative energy.
Well, I was an agnostic atheist for 40 years.
Yep.
Life is better with God.
Her grandpa was a preacher.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she had it around her. Says, my mom's very religious.
I was raised a Christian.
Yeah, you found something better.
Well,
you thought.
I mean, when I went off to college, like many young people do, I drifted away from the church, became an agnostic. And later on, I found that was the wrong choice.
Her husband died at the age of 22. It was Dean was his name, which I never saw him on anything. Apparently, he didn't
want the public spotlight.
He didn't. He says,
which I think was a wise choice. Look, they stayed married forever until death do us part. That was it. They lived that.
She says, ours is a great old love story. Most people don't stay that close that long. That's a loss. Nobody can ever know that unless you've experienced it yourself. He will always be in my heart and my memories. And that's tough for show business. You see show business is like crazy.
Oof, yeah.
So she was really different,
Yeah.
She mentioned he loves working on the farm. He loves working on his tractors, his trucks, and all that. And she goes off and sings.
Well, and she was such a star that there had to be, I'm going to say, a huge disparity of income.
Yeah.
I suspect.
Oh, I'm sure. Shouldn't make a difference.
I understand, but that can be a hard thing to overcome.
For men, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, not for women.
Not as much.
Yeah. Yeah. She said she wanted to live to be 100. She didn't make it. Or she said, well, but she said something about the way I live, the way I work, the way I feel, I'm going to make every moment count. I may live to be 100 or I may die tomorrow, but whatever that is, I will know I died trying, and I will know I've done everything I could to make the most of everything.
It's an impressive.
Wow, how incredible.
I mean, it's a very difficult. It's difficult to live that lifestyle, I think.
Really?
I think so. I mean, I guess maybe because I'm innately lazy, maybe. But I mean, I have right now, there are opportunities that I could work on that I don't because there's too much work.
Right before her 80th birthday, she said to someone she was just getting started, he says, if you allow yourself to get old, you will. People say, how come you don't seem to get old? I say, I ain't got time to get old. I ain't got time to dwell on that. That's not what I'm thinking about.
Well, we've talked about David Sinclair, Dr. David Sinclair, and his research on aging. And one of the things that he talks about, the more active you are in mind and body, the younger you stay.
Mind is a very important, mind and body, like you said. And you've heard those things before about people that retire and then sit in their chair and they say, I get to relax, and then they die. Shortly.
I have.
I've read it.
For me personally, once I retired, everything got better. But I mean, that's when I really started avidly writing. I mean, and I've got over 4,000 articles out there.
But you're busy.
Yes. And I never seem to have enough time to get all the things done I want to do, but it's partly because I am a bit lazy.
I'll see who's lazy.
Well, I see, it's your internal view versus
you haven't opened up a Dollywood yet, but and she never stopped working.
Yes, right.
She was always doing something.
And that had to be, she had I'm sure, a very high level of material comfort many years ago.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a personal passion for her. She's doing what she loves.
Well, same with Trump. Is Trump?
Oh, absolutely.
Is Trump president because he needed the money?
No. No. He took a pay cut, and he's doing it. One, he has a big ego, but two, for love of country. I think
so. He does love the country,
and he couldn't see. There's no one else out there, and frankly, I have a hard time. Now we have a more in-depth bench with Rubio and with J.D. Vance and others, but
tons of others.
But when Trump was coming up, there wasn't anybody else. He became the indispensable man, kind of like George Washington.
Yes, I hate to make that comparison because George is father of the country now, but I think it's right.
He was, but
he's one of the ones that should be on Mount Rushmore, and I know the Democrats would just.
I wonder if it'll happen.
Scream their eyes out for me saying that. But
well,
it won't happen. I don't think.
I don't know.
I think there's a moratorium on carving mountains now.
Well, maybe, but I think Trump is going to go down in history as one of the most consequential presidents we've ever had.
I think so.
I mean, maybe in the top 3 or 4.
Yeah. And a lot of times in history, it's the victors that write the.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah.
So who knows what's going to be written about Trump? Well, because there's so many people that hate him to the bone.
Oh,
I mean, if Hillary Clinton is writing his memoirs, it's going to be a different story.
Yeah, that's true. I don't see many histories where they hated George Washington, but Lincoln was avidly hated.
Well,
FDR was avidly hated. I mean, there are many people who hated. Wilson was avidly hated.
But so was Washington. I mean,
Oh, really?
yeah, you go back and look at some of the old papers and stuff, cartoons about Washington and stuff. I mean, they beat him up.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't. I have I
Yeah.
neglected my education, I guess.
I don't remember how I remember seeing it, but I do remember like all the founding fathers that said about the free press and all that. Kind of like
Well, it
were
was a
hedging-
partisan press at the time, fractured and partisan, kind of like today.
but they were kind of hedging, like they wanted to say, well, maybe we're going to rethink that. You know, a lot of them. I forget who it was that tried to pass laws. To
Well,
make
I
it
think
strict.
Jefferson. Oh,
that
yeah, it
was
was
a Jefferson.
Adams. No, Adams. The Aliens and Sedition Act, I think. Which was repealed in the next president. After the next president, was Jefferson got in power. But Jefferson said, the only thing worse than having all these newspapers was not having them. I'm paraphrasing a bit.
Yes.
But, it's kind of like Churchill said, democracy, or, he's talking about the American republic system. And it said, the only thing worse than it is everything else.
Yeah. I read something about something the only thing worse than being sometimes better to be not informed than misinformed.
Oh, yeah. Jefferson, I think he
Is it?
said something like that. He says, if you read the papers, you're misinformed. It's better to be not informed. You're better off, not having an opinion than having a false opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Let's talk to Mr. Mel. I haven't seen him in a while.
Oh, great.
Mr.
Love to
Mel,
talk
good
to
morning,
Mel.
sir.
How are you doing, fellas?
We're doing well.
Doing
man.
great.
Listen, well, first of all, the best quote on newspapers was Mark Twain. If you don't read the newspaper, you're uninformed. If you do read it, you're misinformed.
That's
That's
exactly
the quote I
going
was
with
thinking
that.
of. And I'm thinking it was Jefferson. Thank you for the correction.
Yeah.
It was Mark Twain, but and now, Mr. Trump.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, there's no one else I would like to see in the White House right now. But at the same time, I'm really not very happy with the way he's doing things right now.
In reference to which one? The war?
In reference to the war and other things. I want to tell a story that has something that happened in our family a few years back. We had a family reunion thing. And one of my grandchildren was going around blowing this whistle all the time. And I was sitting there reading an article. And he came up, read the article, and or blowing his whistle. I said, Thomas, stop blowing the whistle. And he came right up next to me and blew the whistle in my ear.
Oh my gosh.
At which time I took the whistle and smashed it to smithereens. Now, my son was upset because I had, done this. But anyway, my son was in the habit of every time the kid would screw up, he'd say, Tommy, I'm going to count to 3. Now I'm counting. 1, 2, Tommy, I'm getting ready. I'm going to count. And he never got to 3.
Oh, gosh.
Okay. So as a result, of course, Tommy kept doing what he did.
Yeah.
I smashed the whistle. When I told him, the first words I told him after I smashed the whistle is, Tommy, your grandpa never learned to count to 3.
Is that the moral of the story?
Oh, I like it.
Yeah.
We take action right now. And what's happening now with the war with Iran, the president is constantly counting to 3. He's saying, we're going to do something. We're going to really do it. Well, militarily, we've done as much as we can do, I think, probably, unless we go in on the ground. But if we're going to do something, we have to quit counting to 3. We have to do it and just take the action that needs to be taken.
Nice transition.
And until we do that, we're dealing with Tommy again. You understand? And we can't.
I understand
and
what
that
you're
has
saying.
That's got to stop. Now, the Arabs are the kind of folks who just love the idea that you're counting to 3, because it gives them time to sit there and to do whatever the hell they want to do, and to get away with all the nonsense that they're doing with virtually no penalty.
Yeah.
I have a little disagreement because I think there's a lot of penalty.
Oh,
The latest thing I've been reading is we're getting lots of oil flowing through the straits.
They don't care. That's just it. They don't care about that.
They don't care about their people.
Well, if they can't stop the oil, they have no leverage.
But they are still in a position to where we're sitting there, and it's a constant. We're counting to 3. It's a constant counting to 3 thing. That's got to stop. I wish he would, and look, like I said, there's no one else that I would think that we should have in the White House right now. He's the kind of man we need, but he is being played. He is being played.
It looks that way. It certainly does look that way.
And it's got to stop, plain and simple. Now, if that means going in there and putting troops on the ground, then let's do it. But not that I've been in combat. I don't like it. It's a nasty business, but it's something has got to be done to stop this stuff. And we can't just keep rolling we can't keep doing what my son was doing, which is counting to 3. Plain and simple. We have to do it and be decisive and stop it. Because otherwise we're sitting there being blackmailed by these people.
You're not alone in that opinion. There's quite a few.
And that's it. I mean, I wish he would stop that. And the only other thing that bothers me about him, of course, is the extreme narcissism that he displays.
Of course.
I think that that's something that almost everyone in that kind of a position suffers from narcissism to a certain extent.
You gotta have an ego to get it in the first place. But you're right.
Absolutely right. You do. But without that ego, you'd never get anywhere. Right. Anyway, that's it from Kansas for today.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you, Mel.
And you guys take care, huh?
Take care.
Hi, Russ.
Bye.
Okay.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
With that, I got to take a quick break because we're gonna have Richard Sprague, and I'll be right back.
I think Donald Trump has got, as I said earlier, an anaconda Civil War strategy of the North. He's going to squeeze them as much as he.
Obviously, I had Victor Davis for a second.
Oh, I heard.
Okay,
something.
there you go. Heard Victor Davis for a second.
Yeah. Okay.
I was playing music, but I think it rolled into the wrong thing. Well, Richard Sprague's with me. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
How are you?
We're doing good.
I had you on my list, my calendar. I have Richard, but not on the camera. Hold on a second. Let me turn that. We have a new studio, Richard.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
love it.
I do.
It's really nice.
I like it. It's still under construction.
Yeah. It's roomier than your old place.
Oh my gosh.
Feels good.
Yeah, it does. I like
Brighter too.
Derek is he really cares about it. I mean, he's really wanting to do it the right way and get it open for the whole community, get a lot more people in here. That's why I have a bigger room. I can bring in a football team, whatever we got to
Yeah.
do.
Lots of seating. It's really nice.
Yeah, it worked out well. So it's that time of year again, Richard. You usually come in every year around this time, which is fun. It lets us know a couple things. We're transitioning. It's coming into the fall
Thank God.
shortly. Yeah,
What a summer.
I'm ready.
yeah. We're all ready.
We got 3 days ahead of us here that are going to be pretty rough, but
Yeah, yeah, we do. But September 1st. What day is that?
that's on next Tuesday.
So next Tuesday
Mhm.
is opening day
It is.
for Dove.
The 31st is traditionally the single busiest day in customer count for our store every year for the last 50 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And a lot of that's from out of town.
Yes.
But they know you, a lot of them. I mean, they've been coming
It's
down for
multi-generations.
multi. Okay.
Yeah. They love Yuma. They come to Yuma. They come across that line and they can take a deep breath.
Yes. Yeah. I was talking to a Californian the other day and he said, gee, he had just bought a bolt action rifle. He said, I never thought about buying a bolt action rifle when I was in California because we could get them. So,
Yeah.
it was forbidden fruit thing, he wanted semi-automatics.
And it's, we all know it's cheaper to live here, but in my industry, and if you're from California, you pay an additional 11% excise tax over and above sales tax and the cost of the item you're buying. The state of California imposed an 11% excise tax on all guns and ammo.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's been about 1.5 years ago, maybe 2 years.
Is anybody challenging that in court?
I believe they are, but I haven't heard much about it lately.
Yeah, I
all
haven't
that
either, but
stuff
I-
typically gets challenged.
I wondered about that.
They've had some small victories, but I'm not sure about this
I
one.
think they've had some pretty significant ones.
Yeah.
But yes, like the waiting period in California was challenged, and that ended up in the appeals process. But the waiting period in another state, where was it? Just got the appeals court said no, you can't have that. I'm trying to think of which state it was.
It's a lot to keep up with.
There is.
Thank God for the
There's
National
tremendous
Shooting Sports
amount.
Foundation. They send us out weekly bulletins on all
Oh yeah.
the political
Yeah.
changes out there.
It's extremely busy in Second Amendment jurisprudence right now.
Yeah.
Huge amount of stuff going on.
So Sprague's is geared up. You've got pallets of shotgun shells.
Yeah, and this year we got to do something a little different. We got to design our own box. So along with
What?
this is our 37th year of our version of a big deer contest with the Dove. We call it the Big Breast Contest. That's what you can weigh.
It's been going on
It's what
forever.
you can measure. 37 years this year.
Wow.
And so federal said for the 37th, we're going to let you pick and design a box. So we did. I designed one. The people that come here from out of state love to be able to shoot a white wing, which
Yeah.
is, there's mourning dove in probably 40 plus states in the United States, but white wing are not in very many states. We have white wing here this time of year, but not any other time. So we call this our Ala Blanca. It's the Big Breast 37, BB 37, Sonoran Desert Series, Yuma, Arizona is on the box, designed and loaded for Sprague Sports. It's the typical shell that we like to sell every year. It's the federal Top Gun load.
Mhm.
So it's a cool setup, and I have it in 20 and 12 gauge.
And
That's very cool.
and who designed it?
I did.
You did. You got behind all that.
Yeah.
Is that
I looked at
artificial
that.
intelligence?
Yeah.
I looked at that and I
That's
I
AI
guess
definitely
they
helped.
can
Yeah.
see it up in that camera a bit. It's a really cool looking box.
Thanks.
I might have to buy one just to have one.
Yeah. I mean, I think everybody should have one on their bookshelf, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think one should be donated to the show to put on the bookshelf.
Yeah,
on the
I
right.
think we can probably pull that off. Annual Yuma Dove opener in the bottom. So,
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's iconic part of Yuma culture, the opening of dove season and the big breast contest. I think it is.
Thanks. It's a tradition that I grew up loving, and I can remember this is the
well, let's hold it so that the camera.
It's that camera in the back.
And
they can see it.
It's really it's cool, and you've got big prizes this year.
You know what? We have sponsors, Federal Ammunition, of course. They're a charter sponsor, Benelli USA, and all the companies that are under the Benelli family. And then Busch Light, the Romer distributorship here locally, has been a good sponsor for us for many, many years.
Now, you bring a lot of extra people in for this, don't you?
Well, we bring some sales reps in. I have a really good team, a really good crew.
Yeah.
And
but you got enough to handle all of the extras. I mean, that's
well,
pushing
here's the change. In the old days, prior to say 5 years ago, we used to handwrite all the licenses. So we got bring in,
that's right,
an additional 5 or 6 license writers.
All right.
And they would be there from open till close. And we'd have people standing in line all day long to get licenses. Now, Game and Fish has gone away from that, and rightfully so. They want to have immediate tracking on the numbers, so it's all online now. It's all online now. We still have people that will help you if somebody.
So you got computers available to help them out.
Yep. Yeah, we have people there just for that, but we don't. It's not a big deal. But we're generally helping somebody all day.
Yeah.
But it's not 5 people across and 10 people deep.
Do you have to have an app?
No. All you got to have is an internet connection.
I just read about a story about a guy in England who was 89 years old, and he had to have an app to park, and he spent 8 minutes trying, and his old phone could not put the app on, and so he left. And a couple of days later, they sent him a fine of like $100.
Yeah, because he couldn't get an app.
I had to load an app last night on my Samsung TV to watch the Diamondbacks play, and it took me a little while. I had to take a break, go have dinner, come back, and I finally got it.
Go get a grandkid. They'll knock that thing out,
No doubt. No doubt. Where are those? I have 9 of them. They're out there somewhere.
Hunting sites. I know every year the farmers, the farming community, agriculture community has been very open.
Yep. We have 6 or so habitat/access fields that they've been working with Game and Fish. They're some generalized location information is on yumadovehunting.com. So that's a good tip for all the listeners out there. yumadovehunting.com, and there will be links there. You can get your license and your migratory bird stamp. Now, if you're 18 or above, you have to have that migratory bird stamp. And you
do that online also?
Yes. Yeah.
It used to be a stamp.
It's real easy. In fact, as I'm saying that, I've got to get mine too.
You better get it.
I have a lifetime license, and I have to get that stamp every year.
Yeah,
that's same with me. I got that same setup.
I was on the border a couple of years ago, driving down the canal on September 1st or 2nd, and I was surprised, or maybe it was after that, how many dove hunters were right up against the wall.
Yeah, well, that river is natural habitat, so those dove will fly in there. They'll go across into Mexico too, to feed on some of the fields over there.
So odd to see Border Patrol agents and hunters intermingling.
Yeah.
But they do.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that'd be a hunting spot.
I think the hunters have been there longer than maybe
the wall.
For sure the wall. Maybe Border Patrol totally.
Yeah. But it's all over. Any areas to watch out for, like no trespassing signs or areas that stay
Definitely. Just want to emphasize, people clean up after yourselves, pick up your empty hulls. If there's an extra water bottle on the ground or anything at all, help keep the place clean so that we continue to have access to this. A lot of private property. All the farm ground is private property.
And there's a lot of development that's been going on, so you can't always rely that something that you hunted last year is still available this year.
They have a house on it.
A slight correction. Some farm ground is state lease land, which technically would be open if you had a hunting license. But basically, these farmers care a lot about their fields.
They do.
If we want to continue to be able to hunt around them, they
worry about contamination. You don't go into a field.
Yeah, especially if it's been groomed for planting.
Right.
No foot tracks, please. No dogs either out there. That's a big deal.
And I would always carry a little 20-foot piece of cord with me, so if a dove ended up in a canal, you could throw the cord out there and gradually bring it in instead of have it dive it into the
Really?
canal.
Oh,
Yeah. It there's all kinds of tips and tricks out there, and sometimes they do end up in the canal, but usually you can throw dirt clods at them until they get to the other side. And
throw dirt clods out. I have to try it. I'll have to try that. What's the dove count look? I know you've already been out scouting.
It's been good. It's looking good. We haven't had any heavy monsoonal action. In fact, Yuma County has really been dry. Now out east, there'll be some pockets of a difference on that, but typically, I mean, it's been pretty strong. I've been noticing more white wing this year in town and in and around my drives than what seems to be normal, and
Okay.
that started early, actually in May. But the weather just looks to be, more of the same, and so typically,
It's usually hot.
yeah.
It just is.
Thank God, it looks like it's going to cool down a little bit for the opener.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
Yeah.
like low 100s.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and we've got, if I may mention, Yuma Catholic set up for their annual gun
Okay.
raffle.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they kicked that off last weekend. 175 guns plus a Polaris Ranger and an e-bike and some odds and ends, a couple of gun safes. It's about $110,000 in prizes.
How long's that been going on?
This is 22 or 23 years.
Yeah.
It's been a long. I remember the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the brainchild of Pat and Karen Cooley.
They're still doing it.
They are not still doing it, but they started the whole thing and they stayed with it for a long, long time.
Yeah, and it's been handed off.
Yes.
Okay.
Rightfully so. Everybody needs a break.
Yeah. That's great. And
Anyway, the early bird drawing for that gun raffle, 25 guns will give away on September 5th. So a week from this
Okay.
Saturday.
And then your name goes back in for the regular raffle.
It does. All those winners go back in.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. And you're giving away a Polaris. That's awesome.
Yep. Side
You've
by
been
side.
doing that one for a while too.
Yes. Yeah. It's like a pretty cool deal. And if you win something and you don't want to get what you won, if it's a gun, you can go a different direction with your winnings.
Right.
That's always been kind of one of the successful tenets of the program. Oh, on the big breast contest, it's first and second. There's no entry fee, no pre-registration. Just come in with your hunting license and a mourning dove or white wing.
With the wing
your
attached.
rations are legal to hunt. They're good to eat, just as good as any dove. But they weren't around when we started the contest, so we're not changing the contest. It's
Yeah,
white
makes
wing and
sense.
mourning dove.
And they're considerably bigger too.
I would say 15%, maybe a little bigger, larger, and they've got that telltale black mark on their collar
Yeah.
ring,
Collared
ring
dove.
nut. Yep, and they have a different call too. It's more shrill,
Oh,
and they
okay.
all these birds fly different, and fly at different speeds. So you can really, with a little bit of a trained eye, you can start to pick them out pretty well. But now you can shoot 15.
oh, it is
White
15.
wing, it's 15 birds, and white wing or mourning dove, no matter. And
Ah.
Eurasians, it's year round, and
Yeah, they're considered an invasive species.
they migrated up from Central America.
You have any barbecues or special events going on?
There's no barbecue this year. They're taking a break from that. That'll be coming back next year.
Okay.
There is a Wounded Warrior shoot coming up, I believe, on the 5th as well. And the Desert Dove Ladies Hunting Group will have their
That's
hunt.
right. I forgot about them.
Yeah.
They'll have some people out there.
It'd be fun. I would encourage everybody, if you're going to hunt, to get out and scout because things change. And where your favorite field was last year, there might be a house there.
Right.
So you gotta be sure to respect the quarter-mile rule, which means you can hunt from an occupied residence as long as you're a quarter mile or more away, and you can actually hunt closer to that building or residence. And again, it could be a building only if you have permission, but you have to have permission.
Best to get that in writing.
Well, everything's better in writing, but it's not always available.
Yeah, versus
We'll have factory reps at the shop starting on the 31st.
and that's
through
for
the
guns
2nd.
and ammo, or
Yep. And we've got a good bunch of reps coming in, and well, generally we have people come over from California that have got exposed to Yuma for the dove opener and have actually bought places here, moved here.
Yeah, I know.
Either
Yeah,
full time
but-
or second residences.
Yeah.
So
Indoor shooting range still busy,
busy, really good, doing great over there. I have
especially when it's hot like this.
Yeah, and I have a great team over there. All of them are, either current or past law enforcement experience, and they were in training when they were working law enforcement. So these guys know what they're doing. They're really good.
And you have an assortment of firearms available to shoot, try out.
We try to make sure we have all the current latest models over there. It's around 110 guns.
Yeah.
Maybe
Oh, that
115.
many.
Yeah.
So if somebody wants to look at a handgun, they can try one.
We always try to recommend if people are on the fence or something, you know what? Why don't you go over there and just try one out? Just see. If we don't have that exact variation, we probably have something very similar.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
And that's a great opportunity, to do that before you buy it.
We teach the first shots class. We were the second store in the whole country to ever teach that class when the National Shooting Sports Foundation set that up. It's a 3-hour intro to safe firearms handling and marksmanship class.
Okay.
And we do that on a regular schedule. It's at spragues.com, and you can sign up for the class. It's a 3-hour class. It's $49. But we'll do private groups. If you have your own group and you want to do your own time, I have instructors that can teach it during the day, at night, weekends. Saturdays are pretty tied up with our regularly scheduled classes. But we encourage people. We've had nurse groups, bunco groups. We've had realtor groups. We've had all kind of family groups. Business owners have brought people into their team, and we love doing that.
What's the popular concealed carry now? What's the hot tickets?
Subcompact 9mm still.
Okay.
I would say some 380s are still very popular too, but the 9s have gotten so small, and there's I had a gentleman in and a couple actually in yesterday afternoon talking about it. The SIG P365. It's not a new model. It's been out for a while, but that thing has evolved into probably, I'm going to guess, 30 variations.
I can believe that. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, you almost got to get your book out and go, okay, this.
Yeah.
They want to know the differences. It's like, well,
it's a whole family.
You got to relearn. It's big. It's big. And other manufacturers have caught on, Springfield Armory, Smith & Wesson, and they've all got great offerings within that size scope.
So it's too many choices, Richard.
There's a lot of choices, but you know what? It all becomes clear when you get it in your hand.
Yeah.
And you just feel it, and you operate all the
controls.
All the controls.
It's subjective,
and
really.
It just feels that hand is the deciding factor, if you ask me, and the trigger and how things operate.
Now, Dean, what is that gun you bought that doesn't have a clip?
That's the new Keltec 5.7 PR57. They call it. It has a 20-shot integral magazine. It's not a removable magazine, and it's fed by stripper clips from the top. It's a very interesting gun. It's very lightweight. It's sort of a medium size, a little smaller than a Glock 19, I would say, because very thin.
Keltecs are always super light.
And it is very light. Fully loaded, it's only like 19 ounces. And it's very flat shooting. And then the one that I looked at was extremely accurate. At a 25 yards, you could get a group just a little more than an inch, which is getting into target grade accuracy. And now that could be that just the particular gun I got happened to get lucky, in the way the tolerances fit from the factory, but it's a very accurate gun. It's designed as a concealed carry gun from the bottom up, and they assume that you're not going to need more than 21 shots in a ordinary concealed, and it's a pretty good assumption.
I think that 5.7 is a pretty interesting cartridge, and I think they designed that gun to circumvent some state regulations on detachable box magazines.
It could be,
probably,
but it also makes the grip smaller because you can make it thinner by the thickness of the magazine.
No, they're a sharp company. They're, I believe, involved in aerospace engineering and stuff like that.
But when they first came out, I know the waiting list was like months to even get that gun. But those trends come and go.
Yeah, we honestly haven't sold too many of those.
Okay,
they're just a little bit different.
They are different.
People are just used to putting a magazine in and having extra ones, and that gun's not that way.
In my experience, the big detriment to that design is it takes a while to unload it. So when you're used to unloading a gun for safety reasons or whatever, and now you have to work the action 20 times to unload it, it's just something that you're not used to.
Yeah. Hey, this Saturday at the Human Trap and Ski Club, they're doing a pre-dub warm-up shoot.
Okay.
And it's open to the public. It's going to be, they shoot every Saturday and Sunday out there, and they'll shoot this Sunday as well. But this one's going to be a pot shoot. So if you get out there with your squad, whatever squad you're in, you can bring your own. And the winner's going to take away a little bit more than the entry fee. So they're going to have a little bit of a pot shoot, a little pre-dub warm-up. They traditionally do that every year. Sometimes they've given out turkeys. This year it's a little different format.
No turkeys?
No turkeys, no frozen turkeys.
Okay. Because maybe they got too expensive.
I don't think everybody loves turkey all the time. I'm not sure.
That's probably
Well,
true
and
Have
you
too.
have
space
to have
in the freezer.
Space to put it in. Exactly.
I didn't even think about that. It's not everybody does a turkey.
Yeah.
The mission will take it though.
Mission will always take it.
Yeah. Now, have you done any of the empty freezer things for them?
I did it last year, and it's going to be coming up.
Okay.
It's going to be coming up.
So
Our
fill
food
your
drive will be
freezer.
coming up.
Fill
Yep.
your freezer up because
Try to help all the sportsmen and women to clear out their freezers from last year's haul, and we'll donate to somebody who will cook it up and prepare it for those in need.
right.
Yep.
And all that. Anything else?
I think that's it. Just when you go out scouting, I recommend you take binoculars. You're going to drive around. You're going to look for flyways. You're going to look for places that are huntable, not too crowded with buildings and residences and stuff like that. And sometimes you can't see more than half a mile or 3/4. And you put those binoculars up, and all of a sudden you see stuff that's just like, that looks interesting. Let's drive over there.
Okay.
And then when you're in the field, make sure eye and ear protection. For sure, eye protection, please.
Right.
Be aware of your surroundings and any other hunters in the area.
We don't have a lot of problems, do we?
No, but we want to continue to work to avoid that.
So something that's happening recently on the legal front is the $200 tax for suppressors, silencers has gone away. Have you seen any interest in suppressors for shotguns?
Yes, we sold some. They're larger and we sold a few, but they're still pretty big.
Are they?
Yeah.
They're compared to what most suppressors, they're 3 to 4 times bigger.
Well, because a pistol cartridge like a 9mm might use 5 grains of powder, and a shotgun use 25 grains. So it makes sense that it would be bigger.
Yeah,
Have you fired a shotgun with a suppressor on it?
I have not.
I'd be curious how loud it really is, but
I have sort of a precursor. It's called a Metro gun barrel extension. And it acts a little like a suppressor by making your barrel about 40 inches long. You put 20 inches of extension on,
Sure.
and then it's ported, and it's fairly quiet, but it's a very long. It's like shooting a shotgun as big as a Kentucky long rifle.
Well, that's just, and if it wasn't ported, it'd be even quieter. Ported guns they have an advantage that they, reduce muzzle recoil,
Well,
muzzle rise, and some felt recoil, but they are louder.
Well, but this is a different kind of porting. They put very small holes along the whole of the tube, spaced, and the guy experimented with this, the guy who made it. He designed it to be as quiet as possible, and the ATF actually gave him a letter saying, this is not a silencer, it's a suppressor, even though it's not a silencer, it's a barrel extension, even though its purpose is to reduce sound. Fascinating. But now we can get actual suppressors with no $200 tax. They're used quite a bit in England, in Europe. They're where they are a little more sensible about their silencer regulations.
Yeah.
it'll take us years to get there.
We're making some progress.
It's
though,
happening
Mike.
pretty fast.
It's a pretty interesting time right now.
Yeah.
We're making progress.
You stock a lot of suppressors, or
Yeah, we stock over 50 different variations.
and with the tax out of the way, tax is what, $250 a piece.
200.
200 it used to be. Yeah.
So I knocked $200 off right there.
There's more changes coming up. Hopefully.
Those changes are gonna translate into the market pretty rapidly. And we just had a Fifth Circuit District Court decision that so far they have not appealed, and it now is a permanent injunction, saying you do not even have to follow the registration and photograph and fingerprint requirements for the people who were in that court, the plaintiffs in that court decision.
We should have a complete resolution from ATF, I say by October 5th is what they're saying, on whether that will impact the whole country. October 5th.
It becomes very hard when you have associations. one of the associations that was in that among those plaintiffs was the let's see, Citizens Committee for the Right to Keep Bear Arms. It's only $15 a year to become a member, and they're running a special right now, that and the Second Amendment Foundation for $25 a year. And once you become a member, you become one of the plaintiffs that it applies to. So theoretically, if you want to avoid paying, or not paying, but going through all the registration and anything, you could become a member. But I urge everybody to have caution, because there's all kinds of things that are permutating out there, and you don't want to get caught up in where you might be illegal.
And that stands true for all dealers too.
Yes,
sure.
absolutely.
And that's the route that we're taking. We're being conservative and careful.
Yeah. Well, Richard, appreciate all your time, my friend.
I am donating this box to you.
We'll put it on the shelf.
That's going to be the most awesome paperweight you've ever had.
Yeah,
like
it works well. It makes a pretty good bookend.
We'll
It's a
keep
piece of
it.
history right there.
We'll keep
It is.
Thank you for the time
We'll
this
keep it.
morning.
No, thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Have a good hunt.
Thank you.
We'll be
Thank
right
you.
back.
All right, gentlemen.
Awesome, Richard. You did a great job.
Thank you.
We're back with you. For some reason, I wasn't getting the music playing.
Oh, that's not good.
No, I don't know. We should be. It was good to see Richard.
It was. It was a pleasant surprise. I didn't expect him.
Yeah, it was. So I had the volume down is why the volume was down. But
Okay. Richard, I think he still is. He's on the board of the National Shooting Sports Foundation, and it's a national organization of everything from retailers to manufacturers in the firearms industry. They have quite a bit of clout.
He's been engaged in it forever. That's a cool paperweight.
That is. It is.
I see. I got a few messages. I just want to grab right. Oh, we were talking about Trump, and one of my listeners is not a big fan.
That's not a surprise.
And it was interesting talking to Mel. Mel's a fan of what's going on. He's frustrated,
right?
Obviously, with the direction the Iranian war is going on, and you can tell like it's time to stop talking and just finish it. But I'm a little scared of that too, because you could end up with Afghanistan or Vietnam. You know, we don't want to do that.
I've kind of been in the area where Mel is coming from.
Sure.
But the more I've looked at it, the more I'm thinking this is actually working.
Possibly.
And
it hasn't worked yet.
I mean, the image that is out there doesn't appear to be working. But the more I think about it, it actually is. And then we had this report from the head of the Iranian parliament saying, hey, we got to reach a compromise. We're starving here.
They are.
And so the economic sanctions are having an effect.
But they don't have the same feel of protect their people that we would have. They just haven't historically.
Correct,
but at some point, if nobody's eating, they got a problem.
I think so.
And that's a tough thing. And some people are complaining, are going to say, look, well, the humanitarian part, you can't let the people not like the residents not. It's tough. I mean, World War II was tough.
Difficult situation when you're dealing with such religious fanatics.
And they're not going to quit any more than the Japanese were going to after World War II.
Right.
And it took 2 nuclear bombs to make them reconsider.
Well, and you had an emperor there who was willing to stop it. There were fanatical military people who did not want to surrender no matter what.
Let's talk to Clyde. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you today?
We're doing well. Good to hear from you.
Likewise. Kind of listening in on your show a little bit here and there, cutting in our kind of busy morning for me. But I just heard your cohort right there talk about how these economic sanctions are beginning to work, and I'm just wondering exactly how. I mean, we had, and I'm not trying to complain, but I guess I'm just trying to bring to light. I'm sure what I'm seeing is, I'm sure everybody else is seeing the same thing. I mean, putting more tariffs. I mean, tariffs work, but only for a short time. And now
the big thing that's causing the pain in Iran, in my opinion, is the blockade to prevent Iranian oil from going out and for preventing refined products from going in. And the regime in Iran just doesn't have any money coming in.
Yeah, and the sanctions is drying up the money where they can't buy food, they can't buy stuff, and that's a total different deal than a tariff.
Correct, and I'm talking more recently in the last couple of days between Canada and the United States. We sit, we sit between Mexico and Canada, as you very well know, and now we're irritating the Canadians to the point of we're going to start putting high tariffs on there, and they're going to high tariff us back. How are we going to
wait a minute. You say we're irritated. How do you know they didn't irritate us? I mean, they had the tariffs on us before Trump ever got into office. They were tariffing.
The way that I understand it, just recently, was that.
So you're okay with the tariffs that the president just put on?
No,
on Canada?
I'm disappointed. I was disappointed when I read it. I heard there were talks going on to come to some reasonable.
And that's what I heard too, is
conclusions.
the people in the negotiations said, we're almost there. And then what I heard is that the Carney administration in Canada just said, nope, we're not going to do it.
And they're going to do business with China. They want to.
So my take was that, Carney's just doing what his Chinese masters want him to.
Well, I guess we can have different takes, but the one that's going to get hurt is going to be us,
Why?
economically speaking.
How?
Canada gets hurt much worse than us.
I mean, how does
Where do
Canada
our leafy greens that we grow here in our, first of all, we're already looking at a water thing that we've been talking about forever and ever and ever. I mean, we may have less water. I'm not trying to sound the panic bell, but let's be real about it. And now we grow the majority of our lettuce, our greens for salad, or lettuce, cauliflower, all that stuff is grown here for the United States and gets imported or exported to Canada.
Sure, in the winter.
What's that going to do? Right. What's that going to do for our economy? I'm worried about the whole United States, but I'm worried about my backyard right here. What's that going to do for our community here?
No, it's a great question.
It is. My understanding is that Canada has about 3 to 4 times as much dependency on us as we do on them.
Yeah. And I just brought it up real quick. Canada buys half of all fresh produce from the United States.
Half of theirs,
right? So they're dependent on us, and they're not going to get that from China. That's not coming from anywhere else. But
no, we know that. But what I'm saying is, what does that do to? I mean, who ultimately pays the price on a tariff?
Depends.
Who ultimately? Pardon me?
It depends. A lot of the tariffs to China, the Chinese companies picked it up, actually, particularly.
Right.
We haven't really seen much of an increase.
It's more variable than I would have thought.
You probably don't shop for groceries and stuff like that.
I do it every day. We're not getting any groceries from China, but I do every day. China.
I know, but you buy products in our United States that comes from China. They come from all over the country. Because we don't make anything here. We're still not making anything here.
Not true. But
okay, let's take it. Well, let's even bring it home. Let's just zone it in. You buy automobile parts.
Yep.
Have you seen an increase in the price?
There's an increase on everything. So
Why?
Yeah. Well, there's been huge inflation, especially under Biden, and it doesn't go away. It's not going away. It's just gone down.
It's
ratchet. Since Trump's been in office, it's been averaging like 4%. Under Biden, it was more like 8%. And so it's come down with his tariffs, not up.
Inflation has come down, but not the prices, because it's a one-way ratchet. Once
the increases come down,
increase that money supply.
The tariff that we're charging the foreign countries that are sending in brake rotors, compressors, all kinds of stuff that's coming in. The companies that are buying it here from China or wherever it's coming from, the majority are paying that price went up. If you're selling a product, Russ, you sell a brake rotor for $19, okay? And let's say now it went up because of the tariff. Are you going to absorb that tariff, or are you going to pass it on to your consumer?
All I do is I pay whatever price it is, and there's a standard markup, and that's it.
Okay, so you're passing it on to the consumer.
Well, so the assumption is that it went up, but what Russ was saying, and I was tremendously surprised by this when I first heard about it, is that the Chinese companies ate the difference in order to keep the price relatively stable.
The current tariff,
which I was very surprised at.
The current tariff,
and that's good, and that's good business practice, I guess, huh? I mean, you're going to you build guns, and the price of whatever you do to build your gun or sell is going to go up because you're going to mark it up whatever it's costing you. You're not going to absorb it. Nobody absorbs. I mean, maybe for the short term, but nobody absorbs it over a long period of time. That's just not good business.
Well, I understand now. Russ can maybe give me more details, but I read the same thing. That the Chinese government basically made the decision that the Chinese producers would absorb it.
They did a lot of it.
I was surprised.
Yeah.
Now that probably
Like,
not what's going to happen with Canada. I think that's completely different.
oh yeah, I mean, but our world is going to hell.
Well,
Oh my gosh.
Okay. You know,
I don't think so, but okay.
You don't think our world is going through a hell of a deal? I mean, and I'm not
More than
the
normal.
U.S. I mean, I'm not.
huge changes are happening. Good, bad, hard to be sure.
Well, my glasses are clear. They're not rose colored, so I guess I'm just. And I'm not trying to be Chicken Little running around telling you the sky's falling, but you know what? It's starting to lower a little bit. It's not falling, but let's be real. We on your show we've talked about water forever and ever and ever. Oh well, we have this, we have that, and now it's starting to get a little real. Let me look at what is it? Lake Mead is down to 1,045 feet of
Yeah,
water,
the reservoirs are
which is
quite
still
low.
which is still pushing the turbines, but not with the same amount of pressure.
Right.
So consequently, that they're not producing the electricity that it normally produces. When it gets to 1,040, which is 5 feet lower than what it is right now, it's going to be like a little alarm bell coming on, because then it's not really going to be producing any electricity.
I don't know if they'll let it get that low because there's going to be some cuts, but
Wait. How let it get that low? I mean,
Well, they would
we're going to do a
stop.
rain dance?
They would stop producing as much electricity.
They would-
They'd
they
stop
would-
the flow, cut the flow down earlier.
Well, they're going to stop letting us take water off of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, same thing
Oh,
you're talking
but
about. It's the
let me-
same consequence.
Let me just mention something on China. The auto parts that are bought in the United States from China only represent about 9 to 10% of what we buy.
From China?
From
And
China.
you're getting that off. You're getting that off of the 100% accurate AI, I imagine.
No, the 101% accurate AI. They're
Well,
pretty
if
good.
you
with
believe
they're-
that,
they're-
if
this is
you
not
believe that,
This is
Well,
not an.
that sounds unreasonable to me. 9% of the total Chinese imports are auto parts.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound unreasonable. We buy a lot of stuff from
Yeah.
China, electronics, all kinds of
Yeah, we
consumer
do.
goods.
Yeah. But I don't know how much that's affected us. I can't tell you. I mean, I asked, but I see a lot of other countries involved. I know Vietnam has been one of the big ones.
You can relatively comfortably say, without a doubt in your mind, that economically, to run your household hasn't changed at all with tariffs whatsoever.
No,
I don't. It's hard
think
to
there's
Can you
gauge.
comfortably say
It's
that?
hard to
Yes,
quantify.
it's hard to gauge on how much it's terrible. I think it's a lot less than you think it is.
No. Okay. I guess.
That's a matter of opinion. It is difficult to measure.
Well, of course it's difficult, but ask the average American when you go in to buy a pair of pants. Go buy
But you're going to automatically say that's tariffs, that's tariffs,
Sure.
that's tariffs.
I'm not automatically going to see it, but it's having an impact on household budgets across America. It is. You know, we're going to rename we renamed the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of USA, so we could start, or Gulf of America, so that we could begin to drill once again for oil. Now, I'm not saying our president is directly responsible
I don't
for the
think it
price
has
of gas.
anything to do with drilling. It was just he thought he wanted to change. What would the change of
Well,
name have to do with?
are they not drilling? Are they not drilling again?
Yeah, but it
Yeah,
wasn't.
what does it have to do with
There's
the
no
name
cause and
change?
effect of changing the name, though. That's cause and effect of changing
Well,
policy.
Right.
What was the reason for the change of the name?
I think he liked it.
Yeah, I think it was ego.
Yeah,
I think
do.
he was just making a statement.
Well, you know what? If that's what it is, and that's even worse, because we don't need a young Jim kumquat down here in the United States like we got over there in North Vietnam.
I don't understand that. What do you mean?
No,
Yeah, you do.
I
do.
really am a little confused.
He's a little tyrant. He's a little
North
egotistical.
Korea,
Oh,
you're talking
North
about.
Korea. Did I say
Oh.
South Korea? I'm sorry. Vietnam. I
I
apologize.
said
North Korea.
Vietnam, but I'm on what?
Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, Kim
I'm
Jong
sorry, you
Un.
know what?
You're
Yeah.
talking about?
Yeah, kumquat or whatever the hell his name is. But anyway, Rocket Man. But he's a little tyrant, you know, and he's radical. Is that what we want down here in the United States?
I
I
don't
mean,
think we
he
have
seems
that.
to be. He seems to be a little. it's so hard to listen to him right now.
Well, I
and,
agree.
and
I don't find his speaking style the one I most prefer, but I find his actions the ones I most prefer.
Okay. Well, and that's your personal opinion, and
Sure.
we're all entitled to it. I have mine, and you have yours, and that's where we're at. I just don't. It almost seems like he's going to make people want to vote Democrat if he keeps doing what he's doing.
I don't think it's going to work that way, but you're entitled to your opinion just as much as anybody else.
Correct. I mean, just look at where things are going. People are going to want to have change. Our country is an incredible country, and it's a sad thing. But if you look at the analogy of what it is, we're a two-party system. I don't care what you can say. I mean, you can have
Sure.
independents,
We
green,
have been
libertarian,
that
whatever. But
just-
we've always been Democrat, Republican, and
Well,
we will be that way.
since the Civil War.
But it just seems to be that our pendulum, we don't have a middle ground. We go all the way to the right,
I agree with that.
or it swings all the way to the left. It can never come into somewhere in the middle.
Well, I think we had sort of a middle ground with a sort of uniparty for a long
that's
time.
terrible. That thing
From
never-
probably about 65 to about 94. And in my opinion, during that period, the political parties didn't matter near as much as the media control of who was acceptable to the media. And now it's a lot different. And we're the parties have separated and gotten much further apart. And I don't
Well, they're
think
extreme
I don't-
left or extreme right.
well, what
What is
you're
extreme
calling
right?
extreme right seems to me to be
populist?
sort of what was
yeah.
what is the most popular
Yeah, like
for a reason.
closed borders and
I-
crime.
Trump has this, I'd say, talent for picking policies that 60 to 80% of the population agree with and pushing them. And you go, why wasn't this pushed before? Like control over the border. 80% of the people wanted control over the border.
Yeah, they want ID for voting,
Right.
more police.
Well, you know what? And we talk about, that's another issue. We talk about voting and voter fraud and everything.
Sure.
Our state of Arizona, our Secretary of State, our Secretary of State, our state secretary is the person that, puts that out to mandate or whatever. But we all know that law is made by our lawmakers, our state senators and our state representatives.
Started in the legislature, signed by the
And
governor.
all we've ever heard for the last 12 or 14 years is about how voter fraud played a part.
Correct.
Yet we continue to allow mail-in ballots or
Correct.
whatever. We could change that if we wanted to.
Well,
Really?
there's a lot of vetoes.
Yeah, I don't know who's going to
Well, wait,
change it, but yeah.
who writes the law to change it?
Well, the
For the
legislature
state of
does,
Arizona.
and
Legislature.
For the
then
state of
governor
Arizona.
has to sign it.
Legislature.
Okay, but have you seen a piece of legislation go out there and say we don't want to do
I have.
mail-in vote anymore?
I have.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
When?
It hasn't made it. Within the last couple of years, there's been a few of them.
Yeah.
And there's probably been
No,
I don't know how many have been through that help correct problems that Hobbs has vetoed. I mean, it's a process. It's taken some time because
Well, the governor can't veto anything until you get it through the state reps and the state senators.
have you checked
correct.
to see how many she's vetoed?
Right.
She's broke every record on
Oh
vetoing.
no, I'm not saying she hasn't vetoed. She's vetoed a lot of stuff. She holds the record for it. But what I'm saying is, has a bill to stop mail-in voting been presented to her to veto?
Specifically,
not.
I would have to take a look, but
There've been
Specifically,
there's been
just
a lot
ask
of-
the
a
state
lot of things that's-
representatives.
there have been several, more than one bill has gotten through the legislature to make
No.
corrections to prevent
Well,
voter fraud.
John,
yeah, I know bills have been introduced. I don't know if any of them passed right now for
I'd have to
eliminating.
look.
I'm not even talking about right now. Let's just go back 2 years ago.
Yeah.
or 3, whatever you want. You speak to your state reps all the time. You speak
Yes.
to your state senators.
Yeah.
Ask them, hey, what bills have you guys presented? And ask them for the bill number. So that way, because you can actually go and you can look at the bill number, whether it passed or not. But if
Oh,
it's
yeah.
a real bill that has the verbiage for it, you can do it. And it's not there. It's not there, Russ. It's not. I
think
can
you're
guarantee you it's not.
mistaken.
Well, you're entitled to your opinion,
Well,
but I can tell you right now, there's not a bill that has been tried to work out to abolish mail-in voting, because that's where the problem's at.
I think that's where.
Well, that's you that think. It's not everyone believes that, but
Well, hasn't it
we'd have
been
to
proven
look.
that mail-in? Hasn't it been proven that we had a bunch of mail-in fraud? I mean, we had it here in Yuma County.
of course.
Didn't the 2 guys
course,
with the
of course.
3,000 donkeys or whatever tell us that?
I don't remember the donkey thing. But of
Oh,
course.
mule. I'm sorry, mule.
Okay,
Mule.
mules. Yeah, I remember that one.
Okay.
Of course, that's where fraud has been, and Florida has addressed it in a total different way. They've made it.
I'm talking about Arizona. I'm talking about Arizona.
I'm telling you a story real quick. And our guys have gone to
Okay.
Florida to learn, understand. They produce bills similar to Florida that didn't completely eliminate the mail-in, but then and getting it through. But there have been bills on those kind of things. And
I'm going to give you homework like OG does.
oh,
Give me the
gosh.
bill number. Give me the bill number.
All right.
And you don't have to even look it up. Just talk to your senator friends
All right.
and
It might be easier
and
to look it
representatives.
up.
And
Okay. I
Okay,
will
look
get
it
it
up.
to you. All right.
yeah, because I'm telling you, we talk about we can't control what the other 49 states do, but we sure can control here. And yes, it's true. We
I'm
have
not
the
saying
governor
control. I
that
say
has
learn from it. We
learn from
the
it
other
and
side.
make changes
Correct.
Make the
I'm
changes that are
agreeing
needed
with
to be
you.
made. Thank you. You feel better?
No.
And I'm being serious. I mean, I with that little thing, but I mean, I'm serious. We
I
need to
think
make
we
our
will
own
come up
changes
with
for
some-
our own state.
I think we'll come up with some bill numbers for you in a little bit.
Oh, right. After the show, I'll text it to you.
Yeah. And then I have one more question, and I'm gonna let you guys go. Just concerning our state.
Yeah.
I'm just curious that when people run for an office in our state, they're supposed to put their legal name down of what their legal name is, correct?
Well, that's generally if you fill out an
When you-
application, your legal name is on there, and they would have to fill out an application to go to an office. They have to get signatures, and there's a legal form that has to be gone through.
And on the legal on the legal
I would
form, you
presume
put
their
your
legal name would be required.
correct. So I'm just curious, and rather than just kind of go around and around and around, just when I voted this last go around, I noticed that there was a person running for a what do you call it, a precinct committee man, and then this person was also running for a state rep, Gary Snyder,
Okay.
and then Gary Garcia Snyder. So which is the real name of where it's
My
at?
understanding is they're the same
And then-
person, but okay.
Well, why don't we use the same legal name? I would think if you're running for a precinct committee man, you'd have
Don't
to put
ask
your same
me.
legal.
Ask Gary.
I'm asking you. I mean, I know that the little guy, not the little guy, but our recorder is listening to you, and
Okay.
maybe he'll call and chime in on.
I guess
It doesn't matter what name you put on
It
there, or
doesn't.
you put your whole
But
name.
sometimes
or,
I'm Russell Clark. I'm Russ Clark or Russ Thad Clark or Russell Thad Clark. I don't know. I probably have difference.
I think that when you ran for whatever you ran, you filled
was-
out your real legal name.
I was-
I would hope you would, because you're a man of high caliber.
I was Russ
You
Clark.
would have nothing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was Russ. RUSS
Okay.
instead of Russell. But I have Russell on other things. I guess it depends on my mood.
Okay. I just think it's probably more of, if you put the Garcia part, then you can put your name higher than the person you're running against or whatever. But
Yeah.
maybe it was a strategic move. I don't know.
It probably was. I'm good with it. It's whatever he wants to do.
Okay.
It's fine.
All right. Hey, listen,
All
have a
right.
good day. I appreciate you taking my call.
All right, man.
I'm also going to look those things, but if you find that bill number,
Okay.
text it to me, please.
They exist.
Thank you.
All right.
Have a good day.
Clyde's not happy.
Well, he has concerns. They sound kind of valid to me.
I got an article here that talks about the bill. Doesn't give me the bill number.
Yeah, that's always frustrating when they mention legislation. They don't give you a bill
I'll
number.
find it. I shouldn't do it while I'm on air, but
Well,
there are lots of them.
technically we're not on air, so
Well, you're right. Technically, we're not. I mean, Clyde's called a lot. He was distressed today. Like the world sucks.
Well, he may have a generally negative view of the world. I could understand that.
If tariffs are raising the prices substantially, why are we at only 4%? Which is, our inflation has gone down with tariffs. Explain that to me.
But yes, but that doesn't mean prices have gone
No,
down.
it does not. I said inflation.
Explain that.
The rate of increase has
The
gone
rate
down.
of increase has gone down, right?
Under Trump and with tariffs.
I have been surprised that I haven't seen a greater increase in prices. I expected more.
The increase in prices under Biden were like 25% or better.
Well, in a lot of areas.
Overall,
Right.
during the 4 years.
Right.
It was just crazy. And Trump has been down in the 3s and 4s. And people say, oh, he's raising the prices. What are you talking about? He's trying to get it under control.
I think that there's a lot of people look at the price of gasoline and that's what they judge.
That's the big one. And that does have directly to do with the Iranian conflict.
Right.
There's no question.
So,
because that's cause. And I don't know what's going on with Trump. And I listening to the frustration of Mel, and I understand it.
Right.
That he's concerned, and he should be. I understand the patience thing. Gilbert's stressed it many times. Like, just go in and get it over with. I don't have the access to the information he's got. I don't. I do trust him. I'm frustrated also. I'd like it behind us.
Right.
And I'd like it done.
I would say that it's only in the last couple of days where my attitude has gotten more optimistic about what's going on. And
what's made that?
And so I'm just wondering how much of what we're hearing is just fluff. I mean, it doesn't reflect what the reality is on the ground. You can't be both exporting as much oil as was coming out before and not affect the prices of oil. So I think a lot of what we hear from people who are adversarial to what Trump is trying to do is just propaganda. And if I am correct, I hope I am, but I don't know, we'll see the price of gasoline falling in the next month.
I hate to count on it.
Yeah, I'm just saying that's what I would predict.
I don't. I tell you that it's tough to know. The Iranians are going to keep causing problems. That's their only power right now.
But their ability to cause problems
greatly reduced
is reduced, and I think it's getting
still
even less.
But it hasn't. The confidence that the shipping companies have is not where it needs to be.
I think that is true. Both can be true.
Yeah. But the price, I just checked, it's still like Brent crude's like $87 a barrel.
Right. And it fluctuates pretty wildly.
It's been within a range below 100. It hasn't been, it got up to 120 when it first started, but it's been below 100.
Right.
And when it first started, it was at 57, 59, 60, right around the 60 range.
Well,
was norm.
From what I read, there is an incremental pressure being placed on the price because of increasing production from sources outside the Gulf of Hormuz. Venezuela, the United States.
But not enough to take the place of yet.
Well,
really.
Not entirely, but every million barrels per day impacts it.
Oh, yeah.
And over time, it adds up.
Yeah, Venezuela's up like 500,000 a day,
Well, I think it's more than that now.
I think they're only like
period.
1.3 million
and
a
so
day
when you
versus
and
800.
and the U.S. production is up.
Yes.
And they're so
and exploration's going
way to
on.
Circumvent the Gulf by going through pipelines like the Saudi Arabia pipeline that has increased too, maybe not as much.
Yeah.
So all of that, we will see.
The short-term fix would be to appease Iran, give them money, say, go ahead and build stuff we don't like. The price gets better and everybody's happy. But I think that's I think that's the wrong move.
I think so too. It's not fixing the problem. It's putting a Band-Aid on
we put Band-Aids on for 47 years and have had nothing but a spooling up of terrorism.
Correct.
Spooling up of hatred and stuff.
No, I think
we can't keep doing it.
I hate to be Pollyannish about this, but that's my and it's really just changed in the last few days.
When
I think things are better than they appear.
When Clyde calls in and tells me how horrible the world is, I think he's joking.
Oh, really? I thought he was serious.
No. Well, he was serious, but I at first thought that's not true. I mean, we got some problems, but I see so many good things.
Yes, I see a lot of good things happening. But there's tremendous flux. The rate of change is
tremendous,
fast. Yeah. And that always causes
all the results
dislocations and problems.
All the results of everything that's in play right now, we haven't seen the results, reap the benefits of it completely.
That's my take. Yeah. I agree with you on that, but it's not everybody agrees with that.
No, some people are worried about what is today.
Well,
and the grocery prices are something, and it's so amazing because the grocery prices are something that Biden actually trashed, and the press didn't beat him up on it. But as soon as Trump took the office, it's all his fault.
Right.
In the first days.
Yeah.
And they were screaming about, what about eggs? What about eggs? I heard eggs every day. Trump fixed the egg problem, and now it's everything else. They don't talk about
then
eggs.
They no longer are going to we're not going to talk about eggs anymore now that the problem is fixed.
I know.
Yeah, true.
But we're not going to see a beef price solution anytime soon, and there's been a lot of imports to try to overcome some of that.
Right.
But beef prices are stupid. I know they are, and they've been that way before Trump was elected.
Right.
But now they're looking at it and they're seeing Trump's picture on it, not Biden's.
Right.
I don't think they ever did on Biden's. I don't know. Biden kept saying it's temporary, it's transitional, and he kept doing all these lies. It just was never true. But he caused so many problems.
Well, he did. The whole administration, which I tend to view as the Obama's third term. So
yeah,
because a lot of the Obama people were decision makers in the Biden administration.
A couple things I got to get out there. Darlene Graham won.
Did she?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was close.
I wondered about it. Yeah, I heard things.
She was, of course, Lindsey Graham's sister.
Right.
And the governor, Henry McMaster there in South Carolina, temporarily put her in charge for 5 months, appointed her.
And President Trump was happy with that. That's what
Very
he
happy.
wanted to have happen.
In fact, Trump, here's what he writes. He says, Darlene is somebody I've known for a long time. I asked her to do this. I said, Darlene, you got to do it because everyone loves her. Everyone respects her. So I've known her through Lindsey. I've known her for so long. I think Lindsey respected Darlene more than any person he knows, including me. There's no ego there.
Okay.
Yeah, I like him. But he liked Darlene so much, he tapped into his MAGA war chest of $400 million and supported her campaign. I didn't know that, but he endorsed her. And
so she's won the primary now.
Yeah, he dumped over $800,000 into a phone campaign to support Graham over the weekend. And she won. It was close. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but it was close. And the target was Ralph Norman, a representative, Ralph Norman from South Carolina.
Which I've heard good things about him.
I have. Darlene didn't say anything good about him during the campaign, which is funny. Graham says, I was in Washington for only 2 weeks before I passed Russia and Iran Sanctions Act through the Senate. I then passed the deciding vote to confirm President Trump's Attorney General Todd Blanche. Simply put, I've done more in 20 days than Ralph Norman's done in 20 years. I don't know
if I agree with that.
I don't know that I agree with it. I think it's hilarious. I don't think she won.
And it was close, you said.
Yeah.
So, well, that's still a win.
Yeah, it was close. And it's a very it's a Republican state more or less. So she's probably going to be the next senator elected, though, instead of appointed.
That's the way I'd bet, especially with President Trump's endorsement.
Yeah, and she's different than Lindsey. Lindsey was a foreign policy hawk. He was
And she is not.
She doesn't even understand it.
Well, the way I see it is she is going to be on President Trump's side.
Yeah.
And that's the most important thing at the moment.
She's concerned about more affairs within the United States. She, I guess, did a debate and she couldn't answer some questions on some foreign stuff, which people say it was embarrassing, but she's not embarrassed by it. She said, look, that's not my...
She says, I don't speak politician. That was her famous comment.
Yeah, is that right? Not a bad deal. I see a Democrat newcomer scores a runoff in, where was this? Oklahoma. Nikayla Jasmine Thomas, a nurse. She beat out a Jim Priest on this, a Democrat runoff.
What office?
Primary.
Yeah, but I mean, for what office are they?
Oh, Senate.
Oh, it's a Senate race.
Oh, it looks like for the Democratic Senate nomination in Oklahoma. Yeah.
That's not a very state? Oklahoma's pretty red state.
Yeah. Thomas lists a host of policy proposals on the campaign website, including beefing up teacher pay, restoring Roe v. Wade, expanding Obamacare. And she was asked about what she would do. She says, like I said, I'm not nice, so I will make sure that I work as diligently as I can to make sure that within my first 100 days that we impeach, remove, and convict Donald Trump, of course. They will have to pry that pin out of my cold, dead hands before I go any further without allowing this administration to continue doing what they're doing. So, I mean, hopefully that's a good answer. But I'm going to remove, impeach, remove, convict. That's it. That's all. That's all the answers. First, she's going to...
I don't think that's going to be popular in Oklahoma.
Trump only won Oklahoma by 35 points.
That all. So maybe this could overcome...
I guess
I don't think so.
She's going to have a pin in her cold dead hand there.
Yeah, she's not. I'd give pretty good odds that she will not win the Senate campaign.
Yeah, his Hearn, who's a opponent in the right, he's got $10 million in his war chest. Thomas is, impressively raised $60,000.
Well, that's...
what do you think? Are you going to put money on something here?
Money is not everything in a campaign. We've seen people with little money win over people with a lot of money, but it helps a lot.
But she is the far left socialist, and she won the Democrat primary, tells you,
which is a trend we're seeing around the country.
Yeah,
I want to believe that this means Republicans will be more popular at the ballot box, but I don't know if I want to commit to that.
This Kevin Hearn, he's a representative now, but he's had the backing of Trump. He's got, Trump has been supporting him.
He's the Republican candidate.
Yep.
In Oklahoma for a Senate seat. Okay.
Which Trump won by 35 points.
The last time it was voted on, which would have been 6 years ago. Oh,
no, 24. Right.
For the other Senate seat?
No, I'm talking Trump.
No, okay. I was talking Trump Senate.
Oh, okay.
So we're cross.
I say Trump endorsed him, though.
Yeah, but Trump won by 35 points.
In 24.
In
Oklahoma.
So that's a reasonable rate that you might assume would cross over to an endorsed Senate race.
You might think so.
Yeah.
You might think so.
Yeah, I think so.
In the newspaper this morning, I mentioned the article there on the governor.
Our governor?
Our governor.
So Hobbs.
As you know, Hobbs is up against Andy Biggs, and she's coming out just trashing him.
Well, yeah, it's kind of par for.
I don't know if you've seen any of the commercials. Like, he says he wants to raise taxes by 24%. Here's something Andy got. He was looking at getting rid of all taxes and going to just one flat tax.
Okay.
And that would be for everything,
Yeah,
including
no
Social
sales
Security,
tax,
everything.
no.
Yeah.
Oh, this is nationally,
Yeah. National.
but that's not have a lot to do with Arizona.
Federal.
Yeah,
Federal.
right.
But that would also, I
But I
think.
mean, if you're from the governor's position, you don't vote on federal taxes.
No, but she's trashing him for supporting that kind of program of a federal flat tax, because it would be somewhere in the 24 range, because it would cover
Right.
Social Security,
Yeah, that
Medicare.
sounds about correct.
So Hobbs is saying in his commercials, well, Andy wants to raise taxes by 24%.
Yeah, well, it's
And you're seeing a
it's
lot out there confusing
It's
people.
a misstatement.
It's a misstatement. She's really pulling in on something that Andy Biggs didn't support when he was the president of the Senate. It had to do with Colorado City and some allegations of things that were going over there, with pedophilia, or some things that were going on, and there was
Yeah, that's up on the northern border, isn't it?
yeah, it's a weird place. It's kind of isolated,
It is a small town right on the border.
and they're a fundamentalist Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints up there or something.
That's
And,
my understanding.
yeah, and there was something going on that was terrible, and the House had they passed a bill 52 to 47 in the House, and I forget exactly what it was going to do, but it was going to put some teeth into some laws for polygamy or polygamous community and all that kind of stuff. I said pedophile, it was polygamy.
Well, that's quite a bit of difference.
Yeah, big difference. And this would have allowed the state to disband the police department and polygamous community in Colorado City. Allegations officers were taking orders from the church, and all that kind of stuff. And he did not move that bill forward. Now it's all been taken care of something, but Hobbs said Andy Biggs has a really disturbing pattern of protecting pedophiles, and she said pedophiles. And this past week, she's referred to the allegation of the police department in Colorado City, ignoring reports that the FLDS church members were entering into plural marriages. That's not pedophilia, by the way. With girls as young as 9, that was the accusation. I didn't know that.
There we get into something.
That's the pedophiles. So he didn't support that bill at the time. Now, and he said there were other flaws in it. I don't know. But she's hammering on that. That's her big
Well,
deal.
she's searching because there isn't much there.
That's probably. But it's fair to mention. When he told Capitol Hill Service at the time it was poorly crafted, opposition to it by the Fraternal Order of Police. The Fraternal Order of Police didn't want it done. I guess they were saying that the police were corrupt and they wanted to get rid of them. But I think this one's going to get really nasty. Hobbs doesn't have much of a record to run on.
Well, she's has
So
a
she's
record for vetoes in the state.
Yeah. So she's just going to attack, it looks like.
Yeah. Well, this is not all that unusual.
No.
You expect it.
But this article goes on for pages about the pedophile cult in Colorado City, according to Hobbs. That Biggs blocked in 2013 a bill that was designed to deal with the pedophile cult.
The fact that she's reaching back to 2013 on a bill that never passed.
Yeah. That was eventually taken care of.
Yeah.
Through normal channels, I think federally. But it was about the police department. They wanted it was a bill to disband the police department. I guess I don't understand it completely. I'll have to ask Biggs. Let's take a phone call. You're on the air.
Russ.
Yeah.
LDS Church are two different sanctions of LDS. You got your LDS Church, and then you have your reorganized LDS Church. The reorganized LDS Church, I believe, they want to do multiple marriages. I don't know if they go down as marrying 12-year-olds, but those are two different sects.
Oh,
You call Jonathan Lyons, and he'll be able to tell you more than
that's a heck of an allegation from our governor calling Andy a pedophile.
But, you know,
but
Russ, listen to that woman, listen to what's going on. That does not surprise me. I got a complaint, Russ, and you know, I like you, Russ. I respect the hell out of you. I do.
But
But you too, Dean.
Okay.
But that little on you though. But I'm hearing you talk about Oklahoma, what's going on in Oklahoma, what's going on in other states.
Yeah.
But look at what's going on in our own Maricopa, what's going on with the support that we're not giving Daniel Guterres. The fact that we're not really,
Okay.
to me, now let me finish this. To me, Grijalva is the last piece on the chessboard in Arizona to take Arizona red, red, red.
Mhm.
She's a socialist communist who's been on the take with her father for what, 40 some years? I'm including Mr. Grijalva's time in office also.
Well,
All together.
it was like 20 some years for him in
Okay.
office. Yeah.
Okay.
A long time
So,
though.
Yeah.
a long, long time. And we know he
Uh-huh.
was a communist. But yet, you know, I listen to Mr. Carbone. I love Mr. Carbone. You know that. But he was telling me about how bad the Republican Party is in Maricopa. That is not a good enough excuse for me. I mean, why aren't we fixing it there? We're talking about Oklahoma. We're talking about what's going on everywhere else.
Yeah.
But we're not talking about how to fix Arizona. I believe we should focus on fixing Arizona before we fix Oklahoma or anybody else. I believe that we have what war chest we have should be towards Maricopa. We need to get Grijalva out of there. She's the last political chess piece that we need to take out in the state of Arizona right now. We take her out and the dominoes will fall. That's my own opinion. But I'm tired of hearing about and I even talk about it myself, but at least I bring up Maricopa and what's going on there. But we need to focus on Maricopa.
All
I
right.
really believe that. We need to figure out what we can do to get that Republican GOP in Maricopa up to standard. What can we do? I mean, it's a problem, major problem, and we're going to continue losing. Now, I also believe that maybe that's what the Republicans have done because they helped put that damn district up. And I believe they did it so a Democrat could always win there.
It was done by an independent commission.
But we know how that goes.
Well,
I've been on boards that it's supposed to be independent. We saw what was really going on.
Well, there's 2 Democrats, 2 Republicans, and 1 independent, which I think was more liberal. But the whole legislature removed themselves from it, which I don't like. I'd like.
Yeah, I didn't like that either. So, yeah, how independent the independent commission was. I know that there were some results that I thought were far from independent, but that's my.
I was on the one Yuma County when we redistrict was at San Luis Gadsden, and I'm listening to everything. And I'm going, wow, this is not, really. It was definitely leaning towards the Democrats.
Yeah, it's far more partisan than it was sold to be.
Yeah. So what I'm getting at is we need to concentrate in Maricopa. You hear me talk about it all the time, Ron, and I sound like a broken record, but damn it, we need to get that chess piece out of there. We do.
How?
And how? For the voters. How? What's my solution? I don't have a solution on that because I really don't live there. And I'm not in the know as you are, Russ. You're in the know.
Okay.
Right? Am I right or wrong?
I don't know as much as most, but I know a little bit. But yeah. I don't have a solution.
It's difficult. And one of the things that you referenced, Gilbert, was that the Republicans may have helped with the Democrats to make that a very safe seat for a Democrat. Well, that also removes Democrat voters from the Republican districts, which makes the other districts safe for Republicans.
Right.
But what's lacking, what we're both not mentioning, is all the corrupt money that's involved in all this.
Yeah, there's probably plenty. Wherever you have money, there's potential for corruption.
Yeah.
And we heard that last night. Where's the money coming through, Russ?
Well, according to Josh, some of it was coming through AID, and that's indirect because there was a lot
coming to the Nova.
Well, there was
coming
a lot
to
of
the Nova.
there was a lot of non-government organizations that were getting grants from the federal government, and a lot of that was being funneled to Democrat Party.
Yeah, absolutely. I
that's
think
true.
that's correct.
And that's been a lot of that's been cut off. That's been cut off. Yeah.
Yeah, USA, but a lot of it's coming through the cartel, through the Navajo Nation. Isn't that what was said last night?
Some of it, yeah.
A lot of it.
Yeah.
A lot of it. But again, we need to really focus on what we can do to help Maricopa win the election. I know I say it all the time, but seems to me they're turning their backs on Maricopa, and probably because they have a weak Republican Party there. But what do we do to make it strong?
Great questions.
Anyway,
Those are good questions.
Great questions, because it's about people, and it is people.
It,
and whether you
it
agree
is.
with them or disagree with them, they have their own thoughts. You know,
right?
they're
But those
probably
thoughts-
up there saying, "What can we do to get to fix Yuma?" Probably. Who knows?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
There a lot of them are safe in their little safe places, because as long as they're getting freebies, they're okay. Because what we're talking about, the Republican Party is cutting a lot of those freebies out. They don't want their freebies to be cut out. They don't want drug tests for welfare and everything else.
Sure. And that's why that one of the bills, particularly that he was talking about, did not pass, because couldn't get Republicans to cut out some fraud and stuff. And that's Michael Cardone. He's working hard on it. He is, and that's
is.
part of our
He
best
is.
bet. I mean, I
And I had
can't
a
go up
good
there and do that.
I had a great conversation with him after the meeting last night.
Sure.
Well, all right, Russ, thank you very much.
Thank you, man.
My
Bye-bye.
son's calling me.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. Obviously, his son is more important than Maricopa.
Well, you have to have your priorities. When my daughter calls me, I take the call.
I think so. Gilbert's frustrated.
Understandably.
Yeah, because I know he wants me to talk more about Grijalva. I'm probably not going to.
Well, we don't have a lot of say.
No. Is Grijalva my favorite? No. Do I think she's bad at what she does? Yeah. Do I think Gutierrez is better? Yeah. I support Gutierrez a lot. But there's factions out there that think, look, the Republican Party is ignoring it. They're not paying attention. They need to do everything you can to get that done. Now, when Democrats outnumber Republicans so hugely in that, it's not an easy solution. It's not impossible, but it's not easy. And then do they look at putting millions of dollars in there to convince some Democrats that aren't going to change?
Well, what they're looking at is those millions of dollars might be put on another seat that we
Correct.
could win.
Correct. Siscomonte's in a very close area, which, you know, he wins. He's won twice, and he's won by smaller margins, and they're always going after him. You know, so a lot of money gets spent there, more than with Gutierrez by far.
Yeah.
And Siscomonte's a great leader and a great representative for us. So when they look at that and they say, well, here's one we know we can win. And then there's one in South County, which has never been won, has been set up as a Democrat county.
And Gutierrez put in a lot of time. He put in very serious effort.
He's doing the best to represent us, the best to represent himself.
I was impressed.
He's very impressive.
But when you have an entrenched political machine, it's very hard.
He lost by 30 points or better?
Yeah, huge amount, much
points.
more than I had thought.
But that's the difference in registration.
Yes.
And it makes it tough. It makes it all hard. Look at that. You know, we're on display, you know.
Yeah, well, you got to figure on that.
That's fine. We're showing that off. But I understand it's frustrating. And when he talks about Maricopa Republicans, there's a faction up there that, are agitators and trying to fix the things in their favor. And they're very aggressive and very tough to deal with and stuff. And I've gone up to Phoenix many times and put up with it.
There's pretty significant machine up there too.
Yeah. But they don't win everything. They're not in charge of everything. That's just not true. Are they a pain? Yeah. Can you convince them otherwise?
Well, and they outnumber us by a large.
I'm not going to personally do it, you know.
Yeah.
And we've got a great leader right now up there that won in spite of them trying to run over him.
Yeah, that's a big victory.
Yeah, and so he's doing a great job, but he's going to have tussles with them, and I'll talk to him more on the 7th. 7th we're going to have Scott Jennings down here.
Right. I bought my ticket.
You did. Good for you. I'm glad.
I was going to wait and figure you'd buy a table, but I figured I better buy it before they're gone.
Good for you. I'm definitely going. I got to be there.
Well, Russ has been very generous with inviting me to a table.
Well, I just don't have it right now.
A couple of times.
Okay, and yeah, I enjoy having you. I'm glad you're going to be there.
Oh, sounds like a very worthwhile event to attend.
See if I know there's other things I wanted to get in here, or maybe I got it all in. I think I did, unless I lost something. I got the governor hopefuls. That's it. 9 minutes to go, and I think I got it all in that I wanted.
That's amazing. It must be near a record that you were able to get all the stuff in.
No. Here's the record: is I didn't have a computer for a while. I came in and was rearranging furniture for half hour, thinking I got plenty of time, and then my system didn't work. I couldn't print anything, and I asked you to go get a.
There's lots of things going on. When Richard was here. We were talking about all of the all the appellate court decisions, and there's numerous ones affecting Second Amendment rights out there. And the most recent one we briefly mentioned out of the Fifth Circuit was a district court in the Northern District of Texas, where the judge there declared large portions of the National Firearms Act to be unconstitutional. And they did that because in the one big, beautiful bill that was passed by President Trump and the Congress, they eliminated the tax, the $200 tax on short-barreled rifles, short-barreled shotguns, and silencers, suppressors that had been on there for 90 years, since 1934. And that bill took that tax away. And the reason the power that was given to impose that bill was the taxing power that Congress has. So when they removed the taxes, there no longer was any justification under the enumerated powers of Congress for the registration, for the submission of fingerprints, the submission of a picture, the huge bureaucratic nonsense that could take weeks or months to go through. And since that tax was gone and the justification for all of the registration, everything was then gone with it, according to the district judge of the Northern District of Texas. Now, the Trump Department of Justice had 7 days in which to ask for a stay of the permanent injunction on that bill. They failed. Or they didn't fail. They decided not to ask for the injunction. And that means that portion of the bill is now in effect. The permanent injunction has gone into place. And all the plaintiffs in that case now do not have a requirement to go through the registration process, the fingerprinting process, sending in a picture, and the long delays waiting for approval.
Which never solved any crimes anyway.
No, I mean, it never. Particularly, it caused a lot of problems.
Yeah.
If you go to a gun show, one of the most common words you will hear is, "What?" As all these people with hearing losses try to understand one another. And a lot of the reason they have hearing losses is because silencers were not allowed for 90 years in the U.S. The economic repercussions of that bill was that most people didn't even bother to try to buy a silencer, because who's going to try to buy a $10 silencer when it costs you $200 for the tax stamp?
Yeah. Of course, when they put that $200 in,
that was the equivalent of $5,000 today.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a huge tax. And I think it would no longer be constitutional to put that tax in place, because now the Supreme Court, and this is in the intervening 90 years, has ruled that if you put a dedicated tax to affect a constitutional right, it's not constitutional. Because you can't, and the case that was decided on was a case out of Minnesota where the local government didn't like what certain publishers were publishing and said, okay, we're going to tax the ink that you buy so that we can force you to publish what we want published and not other stuff. And the Supreme Court ruled, no, you can't do that. You can't have a dedicated tax that affects specific constitutional rights. And so I don't think that tax that was in the National Firearms Act would now be considered constitutional. But it's done away with now for those items. And it's going to be very difficult to put that genie back in the bottle. And I think all of those taxes on silencers, short barrel rifles, shotguns, and then there's a category they call any other weapon. I think all those are just going to go away in the next year or two. Because it's so hard to regulate it when you can become a member of an association, which would be the Citizens Committee for the Right to Keep the Arms in this case, and then the law doesn't apply to you and it only costs you $15. I predict there's going to be a huge rise in membership in the Citizens Committee for the Right to Keep and Bear Arms.
I think Richard's already made some sales, but it sounds like it's not been a landslide. A lot of people aren't asking for silencers.
I've looked at the numbers. I have an article pending at a different publication called The Gun Mag. And we went from 5,700,000 and change at the beginning of 2026. We're now over 6,600,000 in silencers alone.
Oh, really? Okay.
So we've got most of 1 million already in the first 8 months.
Of course, putting a silencer on a gun's not that. You might have to buy a new barrel to do it.
Well, a lot of the new firearms are being manufactured with threaded barrels so that you can put a silencer on fairly easily.
I doubt that I have a gun with the threads available, but I don't know.
And so that's going to have an effect. I think overall we're going to continue to sell more firearms because people will want to buy a firearm that can have a silencer put on it easily rather than take their classic Winchester Model 94 and have it threaded for a suppressor, or a silencer like Teddy Roosevelt had on his back in 1910.
Oh, really? Okay.
So I think that's going to happen. And the number of silencers is just going to continue to skyrocket. And the tax is zero. That makes it the price lower. That increases demand.
We go out hunting, it's going to be quieter.
Right. And that's one of the reasons I asked Richard if he was starting to sell some shotgun silencers, suppressors, because you wouldn't have to wear hearing protection.
But it sounds like they're really long, like a
they're pretty good size. But I looked at some that were in England.
Yeah.
And they had one for a double-barreled 20 gauge there.
Really?
Both barrels were suppressed, and they were commonly used there. To get the sound really low, you want to use subsonic ammunition. And there is subsonic ammunition available in the United States. It was made, I think, by Federal. And you can still get it. There's 2 companies that make it now for 12 gauge. And it does reduce the report significantly.
I got a picture of one here. It looks like a quart bottle of soda or something.
Yeah. That's a
on the end of a
for
gun,
a shotgun.
8 to 12 inches. We're out of time.
Wow, went fast.
We're done. I'll be back tomorrow. Thanks for listening. Russ Clark with Mortgage One Studios. I got Dean here with me.